sorry. I like to keep a lot of my beers at room temperature around here for the fiscal responsibility. But if you're gonna bring ice into my fine establishment, let's get these pale ales a little frigid. One more for good measure, just in case.
Yeah, I'm pulling that one out. I got you, Nate.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you so much for joining me. And welcome everybody to the podcast. Today we have a very special guest. His name is Lee Dansie.
Thanks for the heads up, brother.
I told you you'd be coming on.
Oh, yeah.
So, Lee,
Yes, sir.
I guess I'll just do the gentle introduction. You have more X Games medals than I do.
Yeah.
Yep. Tell me a little about yourself. If you were to have, like, your baseball card out there, what would the stats on it be?
First of all, it's not a baseball card, Nate. It's a trading card.
It's a trading card? Yes. I don't know anything about anything. Okay.
I just
Good trading card.
So, yes, that's what they're called. Trading cards.
Get super close to that mic just so we can...
So you can check one, check two.
Yeah, and you can bring it to you. Oh, yeah.
Bring it to me.
I want you to think about, like, being smooth E on your late night jams.
All right. All right, back to the question again. What was that again?
I love you.
Yeah.
So I was going to ask, if you had a trading card, not a baseball card, what would the stats on it say? What would be some of those highlights?
Some of the highlights. Wow. That was a lot of them. Uh-oh.
That'll be fine.
Oh, we're fine. Some of the highlights. A couple of the cards had some highlights on them. They're asking stuff like, what's your favorite food and stuff like that. Those are kind of silly, but, like actual credentials in racing.
Yeah.
Where do I start? I'm going to start an X Games series. So you competed in X Games from 1995 to 2001. Got 6 X Games medals, 3 medals in 3 different sports. Downhill skateboarding. Won the gold medal at X Games for downhill skateboarding. Won the gold medal at Gravity Games for downhill skateboarding. Street luge. I did both sports, so street luge would win a lot of events, but I was always a bridesmaid when it came to the X Games.
A lot of silver medals.
Yeah, a few. Little pissed off moments. So,
what constitutes a pissed off moment at the X Games?
Well, it's just such a short course, man. I mean, if you're not on point, it's over like that. You make one mistake, it's...
How long was the course?
Usually about a half mile.
Oh, so like less than a minute?
It's around a minute. A minute something, a half mile, because we got to paddle off, and it's usually pretty slow. So it takes a while to build up to speed, and they give us paddle boxes. You can get about 10 paddles out of the gate,
and then you just got to try your best to edge someone out.
Yeah, and it's like I didn't really have a great paddle, so I never practiced. I was a sloucher.
Excellent.
So these kids these days, they're like fine-tuned athletes, man. They work out, they eat healthy.
Take ice baths.
Yeah, we didn't have any of those sort of glowy things back those days.
No. So you have been doing X Games, and you also have winter X Games as well for what is it called?
Super modified shovel racing.
Super modified shovel racing. I thought this was a joke the first time you told me. I was like, what the hell? But it's real, and you have an X Games medal for it.
Yeah, I did.
I
lost all my stuff in storage when I took a bad turn a few years back.
That'll happen. Pull up that video that we have queued for super modified shovel. I think this is it. Yes.
Okay.
This is what is a super modified shovel race? Explain that to me.
All right. Well, basically, I got a call. A friend of mine was out at a bar one night, and he met this guy who was going to the X Games, and he told him that he has a friend that competed in the X Games, being me. And so the guy said he did super modified shovel racing. My friend said, "Oh, my buddy will do that, no problem." And he had his.
So your buddy's just pumping you up, like, "Oh, my buddy Lee, he'll do anything."
Exactly. So I called the guy, and he was a fire chief of Mercer Island, the head fire chief over there, and he built some crazy contraptions that he was taking to the X Games for this thing called super modified shovel racing. So they race regular snow shovels down mountains on their butts. They just sit on a snow shovel and they do like 50 miles an hour. Well, super modifieds are basically they cut the shovel handle off and they put a hinge on it so the shovel's touching the snow when it takes off and touching at the bottom. That's the one requirement or rule in Super Modified. But other than that, anything goes. So they had all sorts.
So you could have like a rocket ship as long as it touched the shovel at the front. And
yeah,
back.
but it just had to be gravity powered, so it had to be on skis.
Oh, okay.
It had to be on skis, you know. And so, and you have to be able to stop it. And so basically there was like, the guy had built this thing. It looked like a salt rocket car.
Yep.
I mean, it was like 20 feet long. I think it weighed like 300 something pounds. The guy sat in it, had a full roll cage, you know, like a dragster steering wheel on it. And I think in qualifying, there was 24 sleds to qualify and only 12 qualified to race. And he qualified first. And I was in a thing. It was basically an experimental machine that they had never tried or even run or tested. He just built the thing. And
wait, the gentleman from Mercer Island had a bunch of different.
Yeah, he had 6 sleds going.
Okay, and so he was just looking for people to get in them.
Yeah.
And you were one of those people.
Yeah, I was like the last guy. The one guy that was supposed to ride the thing I was in kind of cheesed out at the last second. I think his balls got a little small because it's pretty sketchy.
What were you in exactly? What was describe it.
Okay, so like I said, this other car he built was like 20 grand in this thing. It was insane. The other thing they had, they were pods, like were on the hydroplanes. They're like a jet fuel or for a jet plane, you know, a pod. And they were built on those. And then the other one was when it was on the old Coors commercial years ago, the Silver Bullet. It was on skis going downhill.
Yep.
That was the other one. It was 5 over. So he had this thing he built. He took a Pack Sport rooftop carrier that you put your skis in. And he opened it up and he took 1-inch square tubing. And he built a frame inside. He cut a hole in the top and then put a roll bar up over the head and the back. So I laid down in this thing and it had a T-bar steering. So I laid down in it. My head popped up. So they actually opened the thing up, and I crawl inside this, you know, roll cage and wedge myself in this thing. They close it back down and use those hinges on the back.
Yep, to lock you in.
Yeah, and so
that sounds terrifying.
Well, I really didn't think about that.
I totally see where the guy who backed out is coming from. You're getting locked into a Pack of Sport rocket box for like X Games entertainment.
Yeah, and I've never done this.
And then you've
before.
never done this.
Never done it before. And then like third or fourth run down, there was a super bad accident. This one guy hits the wall and just ejects up and does like 16 flips, and they take him out of there, and his eye vessels are busted, and he's freaking, I think he broke his neck, fractured his neck, and there was some pretty bad accidents.
What happened? Did he just not, was he unable to stop at the bottom?
No, the ski broke or something went and it just caught an edge, man, and hit these walls because they put walls on each side of it. So they race these things once a year in Angel Fire, New Mexico. And so they race them, and it's like 75 feet wide, and they run them down one at a time. Well, at X Games, they like narrowed it down to like 50-foot lanes, and they put them side by side like dragsters.
Yep.
And so they drag race them, and then they flip lanes, and then you go again. And so they hit these walls. The ski just, boom, it hit the wall. It launched up in the air and just started rotating the guy's legs out of it. And it looks like it's getting smashed every time it comes around. But the gravity and G-force are pulling up his leg, so it's not hitting the snow. So it looks like it's just devastating his leg, like his leg's just powderized. So there's some pretty bad accidents. So I just kept my head in, kept my head in the game. I'd skied most of my life and snowboarded most of my life, so I understand the fall line and setting an edge. And the machine I was in had 4 skis on it. I think I was running 2 15s on the back and 2 10s on the front or something. They just barely missed each other.
In case you don't know, 2 15s are 215 centimeter long.
Oh, I forgot. These kids these days ski at 175.
Yeah, super short. So yeah, you got 215, probably like a TNC in the back, and then a little bit shorter ski in the front. And they're so long that they're damn near touching.
Yeah, the rears of the wood skis I think would go under the tips of the
back skis.
Yeah,
okay.
It was kind of sketchy, so I just kept it straight. I knew the fall line, so when it would start going away, instead of steering into the fall line where I could catch an edge, I would steer into it instead of away from it, or into it away from it. So the wall would be right there, and it was 0 to 73 miles an hour in 14 seconds. And the stopping was incredible because I had a I think it was hydrogen, some sort of tank behind my head. And it would I hit this little switch on the side of the roll bar inside. I hit the switch, and the rake would go down on a piston. It would hit the snow, and it stopped in like 50 feet, maybe 40 feet. It felt like my skin was coming off on the skull. It was like the reverse G-forces were insane.
So you're going 73 miles an hour, and then you hit a little button, and it pneumatically powered
just straight in the ground.
Shovel.
It's nasty sounding. You don't want your foot around that thing when you hit that button. Powerful hydraulic piston just pounding in.
And then stopping.
Oh yeah, it's like a 50-foot snow wall going behind me, and the snow would all come down.
That's kind of sick.
Oh, dude, it was fun.
But a drastic deceleration.
Oh yeah, it was like the most incredible thing I've ever felt in my life, and I felt some pretty incredible moments in my life, dude. I mean, it's like insane.
Let me see this video. I have.
So that's me in the pack of sport on the.
Really in the white?
Yep, in the white.
Oh my goodness.
So as you see, it starts to fall off to the right. I think the fall line was going right. So that's me on the left side.
So you're whooping ass.
Yeah, that was the faster of the two lanes. But even when I switched, I still smoked that kid. But he's in a crazy looking contraption. Look at that thing, dude.
You stopped way faster than him. Holy shit.
That's because I got some of these guys had foot brakes. They'd push into the snow. They had these claws out of it and go in. So I think this was the final.
Is that you?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Were you sponsored by Dragon at the time?
Oh yeah, I was sponsored by Dragon.
What?
I was sponsored by Dragon when they were working out of an apartment. Back when they were, I think the only people they were sponsoring was guy that used to race for Chip Ganassi.
You had long hair?
Yeah, I had long hair, short sides. That's why the sides are long and the top's thin now.
What? Oh, you had the cool haircut that like people have now, that like undercut style?
No, it was shaved. Yeah, I'd do a ritual every time I go to the X Games. I'd go to my barber like day before, and he'd flat shave me, pull out the flat shaver, and shave it all the way up. And so I'd basically done it 100 times. I had just a thin strip going down my head, but if I took the hair down, it'd come down halfway down my back.
Oh my goodness!
You could mohawk it, put it up.
Whoa, that's pretty badass. And so, how did shovel racing go? You said you ended up getting a silver medal in it?
Yeah,
or?
I got a silver medal. So, like, dudes like has no idea who I am. So we get down there, and these guys start like telling him that he's been in the X Games. So they start doing a piece on me, a feature on me, and he realizes that I'm starting to like bring attention to the team and stuff. And he didn't even expect me to qualify the thing. I qualified 6th, and I kept moving on. I kept beating people. So the one that should have won it, his other car or his other sled, the brake busted off the back, and it slammed into at the bottom. There's like a bunch of netting, and slammed into the netting and just went up, almost flipped over, broke the whole front end off. The dude inside had a 5-point harness on. He was like, no problem. 73 miles an hour straight into the freaking impact rails. But yeah.
What year is this?
1997.
Oh my goodness.
So this is this winter. So yeah, this is like my 3rd X Games, because 95 and 96
I was 7.
summer.
I was 7.
Wow, that puts some shit in perspective, bro.
I was 7 years old. I honestly, I was probably watching that on TV. Like, I watched so many X Games, like summers and winters. I thought it was the coolest thing ever.
That's so much better.
Not being fully immersed.
Yeah, man. Listening to myself talk, that's annoying.
Yeah. Don't do it.
Yeah, I'd rather do it this way.
Yeah.
It's like, what's the internet like?
You talking.
Oh, okay.
People like when you talk. You don't have to listen to you talk.
No, I'm just talking about in the ears, dude. It's distracting.
Yeah.
It's like I'm
it's
talking
so
and it's
crystal
like,
clear.
well, yeah, but I'm hearing myself saying what I'm saying, so then I'm like trying to think what I'm going to say next, but I'm thinking what I just hear myself say.
I'm glad it took about 4 minutes for us to realize the real Lee.
That's so much better.
Just like I can't tolerate hearing myself.
I know, thanks. God, you poor bastards.
Yeah, no, it's just nice. So let me ask a couple more questions on this X Games stuff.
Okay.
How badass is this? It's like, what are the perks of being in the X Games besides like you're on TV?
Perks of being in the X Games, man. Fuck, it was awesome, dude. Our sport was usually the first sport, like first or second sport to go off. So we got done. You got your money, you got your medal, you got whatever, or you got screwed. And then freaking the whole week, you're just partying and going to events, and you're an athlete, so you got athlete's badge. So you're up on top of the fucking ramp. You're doing this, you're doing that. I mean, I going and hanging out. I mean, I know a lot of people because I've been going to the X Games,
So once you like got done with the event, just like party. And like,
what is it? Party before the event, party during the event, and party after the event. But I meant like party by going to check out the other events. You know what I mean?
Oh,
it was like, going to watch freestyle motocross. I know Mike Metzger really well. I know Deegan. I know Travis really well. I've known Travis for years. I know all these guys. You know, I was walking up one time to get on the ramp at one of the things, and one of the guys is like, "Oh no, you can't come up here," you know. And I'm like, "Hey, I'm an athlete." He goes, "Yeah, but you're not a BMX athlete." And Simon Trebon walking by, and Simon goes, "Hey, bro, that's Lee Dansie. Come on, you come up here, Lee." And fucking, I didn't even know Simon knew who the fuck I was. You know?
Interesting.
And it's like, you know, I know Dave Mirra well and shit. You know, I knew all these guys because I go watch their events, and we'd be up in the zone where they're, you know, getting changed, getting on, you know, on the ramp, or they're doing whatever. And you just, they know you from watching the X Games
because they were watching your event when you were, you know, when they were
they weren't. Some of them came and watched our events live, but I mean, they just knew over the years of just going on and on and on and consistently seeing people. I mean, I went for
so you were
5
in
or
like
6 years.
Like, yeah, I was about to say, so you were at 6 different X Games, and at that point, it's like,
well,
going to
7. Hold on, yeah, 6 summer, because 95 through 2001 summer, and then one
winter.
One winter. I pretty much medaled every year at the X Games, except for 97.
What happened?
Hold on, not 97, 96.
You lost?
Fucking waved at Biker because I was like fucking over his shit. And so I was like, what am I going to do? I wanted to like kick him or do something when I went by him, and I passed him and I fucking took my hand off and I went, later, bro. And I went to put my hand back on the handle. I got a 90 coming up and I didn't get my hand on the handle all the way, and I rammed the corner. I just fucked up my line and went straight to the hay bales. And he went by me going, got to the bottom, and I was pissed.
So
if I would have stuck, dude, I would have just, every time I saw him, I would have gone, hey, bro.
So you did it to yourself. You tried to show off, and then you got smoked.
Yeah, stupid shit.
Okay, cool. That makes me feel good. I can relate to that.
I did stupid shit, you know. I mean,
what were the courses like back then? Like
they were fucked. They were city streets, you know. So it was like, you know, street luge is made to be, you know, it wasn't represented right at the X Games, man. We're running half-mile roads. It's all about the paddle. You know, that's why Biker did so good. I mean, he was a decent street luger, but he wasn't a great street luger. He had a killer paddle, and he'd get out in front of people. You watch a lot of his wins. He's just out in front of people, just get out in front. He's a surfer, and he just short little arms, and he was stacked, and he could power out, you know. Power to him, but, I mean, that just wasn't what our sport was about to me. About me, it was like Glendora and stuff like that, you know, 5-mile roads, like long roads to where shit goes on. And it's a battle.
You can like pass people over and over and over again.
Yeah, you know, and you can mess up on a corner or two. X Games, you can't mess up, man. I mean, what was it, 99 San Francisco. I was coming down to Cliff House Corner. It's just pretty much straight away with little kinks going into a lefty, full-on lefty at about 55. And one of the corners I went in, and instead of apexing it, you know, right inside, I left a little room on the inside. I didn't apex the corner all the way. Left a little room on the inside, and somebody got down underneath me. And so I got eliminated in 2-man. So it came to the 6-man. And in the final in the 6-man, I got like Rogers Brothers, Pereira. I got a bunch of good drafters in there. So I'm like, my game in this one is to run the hay bales all the way down as fucking close to the hay bales as possible, because nobody's going to get behind me because they ain't got the balls to run hay bales. You know, that was
explain running the hay bales. You mean like riding as close to the hay bales as possible?
I mean, just pretty much fucking touching hay. You know,
so people won't try and get behind you.
Yeah,
because like when you're going that fast, you can draft really easily.
Oh yeah, street luge is way easy to draft, especially if you know what you're doing. You know, what I mean, you can side draft people. There's so many different ways you can fuck with people on the street luge. But like, so I ran the bales, and I get down to that corner, and I shoot out wide, and I go, and I'm fucking, this time, like, I'm protecting that inside, and I apex too hard. Scrubbed a little speed, came off the corner. I'm still in front. I'm like fucking smoking these fools. I look up, and I see the Jumbotron, and I look, and I see somebody behind me. I look over, and I see these fucking Samson shoes coming up beside me. And Pereira used to wear those all the time. And I saw the shoes come up, and I'm like, fuck, dude, just wobble. And just bump him a little bit, and you'll just take his inertia away, you know? And you got this, bro. You finally got your X Games gold medal in street luge. And I'm like, dude, I mean, this is like I mean, it's happened in like probably a second or two, but it was so slow motion. Like, it went through, I thought about it a couple times, like, I could do this. And I'm thinking, that's Bob. He's going to know that I don't wobble. You know, if you watch all of my riding in the old days, he's stand up or street luge, I was solid on my shit. You know, and like,
big claim,
and like, oh, it's a claim. You can go watch the shit, dude. It's solid. You know, it's out there.
You're
but
not.
I couldn't watch. It's like, and I knew I would have cheated to get the medal. And even
Yeah,
if
which
I got
would've
the
been-
medal, I would have felt like shit. I don't know how people.
And you
can
probably
do
would have
something.
lost the medal as well. So I mean, hey, he probably
No, I would just, you know, he wasn't up far enough. I would.
Oh no, I'm saying you could have definitely would have won the race. You may have
Yeah.
not been able to keep the medal forever though.
Oh,
That's
I would have felt like shit and given it to him,
Yeah.
probably. But no, I didn't do it. You know what I mean? But like,
Which is that's interesting that you would bring that up because it's a very common tactic even today in like racing. It's like if someone's slowly passing you, if you like if someone's slowly passing you and you like kind of gently go sideways into him and bump, you take a little bit of their
you
inertia.
take their inertia away. They don't got the passing speed. It's gravity, bro.
Yeah.
You know, I could have totally screwed him, and I just like that's just not my game. You know.
No,
But you know, it's like that's what I said. That's about those courses, though. Back to that, they're just so short, and you know, it's over so quick. You know, the year before that, I'm in the gold medal round in the 2-man against this is another fucking silver. You know, so
I looked at it because you have 4 silver medals and 2 bronze medals or something like that.
I got 4 silver medals, 1 bronze, and 1 gold
In X Games.
Yeah,
What was the gold in stand up?
stand up.
What?
Yeah,
Big dog. But yeah, tell me more about this luge. So you decided you weren't gonna.
So yeah, I'm racing the next year. I'm racing Dennis, and we go into that same corner.
Dennis
racing, Dennis Dromler.
Okay.
And so we're racing into that lefty because it was the same course 2 years in a row. And in the final gold medal round, I go to make the pass down the inside on him in that hole because he was out in front, and I just drafted him. So I go to make the pass on the hole, and he comes, and I clip the bail, and I bounce back out a little bit, and he's coming when I'm coming, and we hook up. So we're gonna crash. So I reached over, and I just grabbed his plate, and I moved him over like that. I just grabbed his plate and moved him over. So we raced to the finish line, and it's a photo finish, and I beat him by like a half a toe. And when we had the collision, and I moved his plate over because like we had the collision, he put his hand in the air like, oh, like a protest type of thing, like, oh, what the fuck's that? So we get to the bottom, and he's protesting that I hit him, and they said that I grabbed his plate and I pulled him back, and I actually just moved him over, but they DQ'd me for touching his board or some shit. So silver medal again. But like I said, short courses that you got to go for it, and one little mistake, you're screwed. You know.
Because like, what would be the ideal place to race in the X? If Street Luge was going to be in the X Games,
Street Luge in the X Games, man, they need to do something like on Glendora or something like that.
Something
maybe
long.
half of it or something, and there needs to be POVs on the cameras, and it needs to be shot above by drones or it needs some drone footage from above. You know, GMR snakes enough around where you could get sections and fly it over and wait for us coming at it that way. You know, there's ways to shoot it, and just the POVs that we had on our helmets, dude, you could see battles on that road all the way down.
Yeah, that's definitely the case. But I mean, you just think that a longer road really breeds.
Oh yeah, that's what our sport's about. That's what Street Luge is about to me. It's not about
30-second to 1 minute races.
Yeah, no, it's about riding the road. You know what I mean? And it's.
And being at high speed for a long time, like on some of those roads, like, oh, I went like 55 miles an hour, but like for a second, like other roads, you can go like 55 miles an hour on for like 5-6 minutes at a time.
Yeah.
And be
well, it's also how many corners you got, man, because on the Street Luge, man, it works your core out, you know? I mean, you're laying down, yeah, but you run some,
it's like
you run
doing
GMR hard a bunch
it's
of
like
times.
doing a leg lift. Like, you know those things you did in like
dude.
elementary, you like lay on your back and just slightly lift your legs off the ground? That is the workout.
Yeah, your stomach, your core. I mean, you're just drained after riding GMR for a day. Your neck's fucking sore as shit.
Oh yeah,
you know, unless you
especially
got a good headrest.
Especially with those old big ass helmets too.
Oh yeah.
So you X Games gold stand up.
Yeah. And Gravity Games gold stand up.
How?
You don't even want to know about that story.
I mean, let's.
Okay, let's start 2 weeks before the X Games that year. I go to Moses Lake with the boys, got the dirt bikes out, got the new paddle tire on the dirt bike, CR250. Fucking going out there for Memorial Day weekend, not thinking shit. We're jumping some dunes. I jumped a dune backwards, and first time fucking hammered it and cased it. And so I hit it in fourth the next time, went over the back of the dune like I was supposed to. And I thought I was coming down on all two. The nose was diving a little bit, but I thought I was still going to hit 2 wheels. You really want to come in and kind of on your rear wheel.
Oh, yeah.
And the nose dove a little bit more, and the front wheel hit first. And I should have jumped, and I didn't. And the bike came over on top of me and did it all the way to the bottom of the dune. I broke 5 ribs, hemorrhaged my lung, and separated my shoulder. And
this is 2 weeks before X Games?
2 weeks before X Games. And so, like, I get to the hospital, and they're
Stop.
like,
One more time. Run me through that list of injuries again.
it was
5 broken.
5 broken ribs. I broke 1 and 2 at the sternum here.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, 1 and 2, I've got like a little nub that comes out because they healed like that. So
Yeah.
you can feel a big hole here in my chest. And then I got 3 down the side. And then it hemorrhaged my lung, and I separated the shoulder. I got a 2nd-degree separation up here of the clavicle or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And so they want to put a cadaver ligament or pig ligament in it, but I don't have any problems with it. So
if it ain't fixed, don't broke it.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm all messed up, and I hemorrhaged the lung, and the doctor gave me a pillow when I left. He said, "You can take this with you." I'm like, why? He goes, "Because you're going to be coughing up blood for about a week, with a hemorrhaged lung." And so, like, back then I used to party a bit. So, I had to take some bong hits after I got out of the hospital. With a hemorrhaged lung is not too good of an idea. So he gave me the pillow. So if you have to cough up these blood chunks, it was like Jello. It was nasty. So I had to hold this pillow, and coughing up just chunks of like blood for a week. So the lung healed. So
what's the pillow for?
To hold on to, because it fucking hurts so bad, dude. 1 and 2 broke right at the sternum up here, and 3 down the side. So the ribs are fucking snapped all the way down, and I'm like holding on to this pillow while I'm coughing because I was stupid.
You were gonna not.
Hit,
yeah,
so,
you were not gonna get high.
Oh no! Well, also I was coughing anyway and coughing up the chunk. So why not?
Why not be high? Do it,
pain, dude. You know what I mean? So I'll feel a little pain to not feel pain, if that makes sense.
Hey man, you don't gotta explain it to me. If I'm gonna be in pain, coughing, but I'm also going to be in pain, coughing, and high. Maybe that's a good way to do it. Or drunk. Who knows?
Yeah. So it wasn't good. So I get to the X Games, and 1 and 2 are broken. They just gotten sticky the night before.
Explain that to people who have never broken a bunch of ribs.
Well, so when I was coughing the blood, I could feel like this rib wasn't attached. It's doing this.
You can feel it wiggling.
Oh, yeah. You can totally feel it fucking wiggling around. I couldn't feel these wiggling around, but 1 and 2 up here I could, because that's kind of like your main breastplate. Your ribs come off your collarbone down to there. And so 1 and 2 are snapped, and you can just feel every time I breathe, it kind of pop. And so basically it just gotten sticky. And so in street luge, I think I got 9th was the best out of 32, because I couldn't pull out of the fucking gate. My shit was toast. My shoulder was still separated.
Everything's clapped.
Everything's fucked.
I'm coughing blood.
Yeah, dude, I stopped coughing blood about a week before I got there, so it's good.
I'm describing my rib cage as being sticky.
Yeah, so it's just gotten to the part where I could feel like it was healing, and so like I couldn't pull out of the gate very well.
So luge, your best event, you're like gonna suck in.
I got 9th.
Okay.
Not too bad for not being able to get a good start.
For a guy with a pretty much useless broken ribs.
Yeah, so then we have a street or stand up for a demonstration sport that year. It was up against freestyle motocross for a demonstration sport. We actually beat freestyle motocross when it came to the voting on the internet. We beat it 51% to 49% for stand up. But they ended up putting in the motocross and taking out the stand up because they thought it was too dangerous. It doesn't make any fucking sense.
Wait, run that back. They took stand-up longboarding out because it was too dangerous.
They thought it was too dangerous after the last crash in the final.
And they put freestyle motocross in.
Yeah.
Which now people are doing like double back, like backflips and double backflips and like 360s.
Triple backflips. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
They're out of hand. So,
and longboarding, like what happened? One person just clipped the hay bales super hard?
No, in the heat, there was a 6-man heat. I think me and Biker, I made it through. I started the whole accident. So
no way. Lee started a crash on a longboard. I don't believe it. I didn't
start it. I put somebody.
People
in a
have told me, Lee, that you start crashes. And I always defend you. I defend you. I will say Lee never starts a crash.
Bullshit! You threw me under the bus with Mr. Takeout, Dennis. Fucking Magoonigan.
What? I'm allowed to change the story when I have different people on. Yeah, no. When you're here, you would never take anyone out. But when Dennis is here, you take a lot of people out. Okay. You tried.
I haven't taken out anybody. So
he tried to take me out one time.
I show up there, right?
But he's only like 120 pounds. He like ran into the inside of me because he can't turn it all on his fucking longboard because he's riding RKPs, which is a different story. And he like tried to take me out. And you know what I did? Took 240 pounds, just put him back on his board. I was like, you should just go in front of me if you're going to be that fast. Yeah. You was playing bumper cars. You would have been disqualified at X Games for touching me so much.
I think he just likes you.
Yeah, just slam into the inside of me, look at me, and just like under your breath. Gotcha. So tell me more. I love.
Okay, so where were we? We were talking about this. So we show up to the X Games with these broken ribs and all this shit.
Please use a precision caliber hanger. Don't be using a box cutter. That's
I can use anything. Is there a special way to use this?
the axle. The axles are all stripped.
Just like that. Okay,
Yep.
I got it.
Yeah.
Give me a second. Think about where we're going with it.
Yeah.
Okay, so show up at the X Games. I get 9th in street luge. So we got like 20
No
minutes.
big
half
deal,
hour.
by the way. Just 9th in street luge, so whatever. Here
Dude,
I
that
am.
sucks, bro. If I'm not walking out with a fucking first, second, or third, man, I don't give a fuck about the money. I was all about the medals. And
How
the
much are you
fucking
getting for
hardware.
9th?
Like $500 or some shit. Some
$500 back?
chicken feed shit.
I mean, dude, not
dude, you know what? You know what? You know what?
$500
First
would
place
solve
got
a
you.
couple problems
You know what
for me
first
right
place
now.
got you? Like fucking 12 grand.
12 grand would also sell
12
a
or
bunch of stuff.
15
Solve a
grand.
couple
You
more
know what I mean? Was first place. I mean, you know, but I got contingencies and money for second and contingency. I was walking out of there with 10 or 12 grand. when I got my
Okay.
contingency. So we're back there. They're setting up. We're going to do stand up. So we've got time in between, right? So Electric Louis shows up with the new electric skateboards, the ones that were like fucking 70 pounds because the battery on it weighed 50. And so we're all out in the bottom of Coralcom parking lot, ripping around on these electric skateboards.
This is in like 1990.
1997.
That's pretty cool.
How old were you?
Still,
Nine?
still seven. Still
Still
seven.
7. Okay. Well, 95. I thought we were talking about before that. So you were 5.
Yep.
So we're ripping around in the parking lot, and it's remote control, and I let off too fast. I didn't push forward for the brake, but I let off the accelerator too fast after pinning it, and it locks up on me and tosses me. And I hit the ground, I roll, and I get back up, and I take the first breath, and I felt the rib pop again. I felt him doing that. So I beelined it for the medical tent.
No
and
more
then-
sticky ribs.
No, and that worried me because when they were sticky, if I crashed and took a shot, like a real hard shot, going like this,
You could at least
they
kinda-
might go in. Yeah, if they're sticky, they might not. If they're hanging there, they could hit the heart, the lung. They could hit anything if I take a bad shot to the, because my collarbone's fucked. So that's not going to help hold structural.
So my
tendency.
right arm's useless.
Yeah, so if I go down hard, so I was freaking out about it. So I went to the tent. They taped me up. Went to one of the other Luge guys' trucks. Smoked some weed. Went and got some pain pills. Had some pain pills. Started feeling a little bit chill. Started calming down. And then got on the starting line in the first heat. And knew I could smoke all the fools in the first heat. Not all the fools. They were all my friends. But, I could smoke all these
You
guys.
knew.
I knew I had it. So I just laid back. And because I didn't want to get... They'd made a chicane out of hay bales. So it was like not natural road. So you had to fucking kind of look... Stand up, you could look over the bales a bit. But on street luge, you couldn't see around the bales. It was hay bale to hay bale, when you're that low to the ground.
Mhm.
So I could kind of look over. And as I'm coming down in, I just didn't want to be in the mix with these guys. Because there's 6 people going into this shit show. So I figured I'd just hang back and I can draft these fools. And so I hung back and I drafted them. I came out of the chicane in like 5th, I think. I passed somebody in the chicane. I'm 5th. And just pinned them all. Boom, 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 boom. And pinned them all and got 2nd and transferred on. And did it again. And then we're in the final. It's me, Biker, George Orton, Mallard, Rat Salt.
Sean
and
Mallard?
Eric Lee. Yeah. The Duck. The
That's super
Quackers.
funny.
He's my guy.
He had a pro model with Madrid right when I
I know.
started longboarding.
Yeah.
Like
I've been
him, Roger Hickey. I think
Sean was my teammate for 10 years.
I want to say Andrew
8 years.
Mercado.
Yeah. Andrew.
Interesting. Dude, that's awesome.
So-
what are you racing on?
What was I racing on?
Yeah, what's like your deck and wheels?
Sean made it for me. So Sean used to make a lot of boards out of his dad's factory because his dad did like one of the biggest wood shops in California. There's like 4 wood shops that was making all the boards back in the day. And so there'd be like 6 different brands getting made out of one shop. And so Sean had made a plug, and I digged on his plug. I just didn't dig on his shape. And so I paid Sean to make me fucking jig and use his mold. And I just ordered 200 boards, and I sold them out of the back of my car, and sold them to people, and this and that, and made some money, and that's what I rode. And fucking, I was smoking people on it. It's a big old tank these days compared to what guys
How
are
long
riding.
is this board?
It's 40. I think it's about 42 inches, 40 inches, 42.
My man, that's like what I read.
That's what you need, eh?
So, well, see, it's also beefy in the front. It's like a Mako Shark, and came back, and it got skinny in the back. So, like, last time I rode it at Maryhill, and I was going through the corners.
It's-
of
yeah, your
Maryhill,
board is
you can
so
feel
skinny.
you can feel it torsionally fucking twist. And I couldn't feel that before in the old days, but now I could feel it like torsionally flexing going down Maryhill.
Yeah, I was about to say
interesting.
your board was so skinny in the tail, and I remember when you like got back to longboarding, you were just like, everything's so wide, and all you're like, what's going on? And I just was like,
That's because I rode in the front of the board, small tucks or whatever. I was
Yep.
up in the front of that sucker. All my weight was over the front truck pretty much.
because it had to be.
Yeah.
You're riding indies.
Yeah. I was the only one riding indies. Won back-to-back gold medals on indies. I don't know how, but I did.
So you're at X Games, you're in finals, and what ends up happening? How do you? And so you're on independent trucks, a 42-inch absolute land missile. And is your board long by standards, or is it pretty normal compared to everyone else's?
Maybe a little, maybe an inch or two in wheelbase. Everybody had pretty long boards back then.
What was that boomhauer?
I don't know. It didn't seem too much longer than anybody else's. I think so. I mean, everybody's boards seemed pretty long back then. You know?
Okay, so
I
really
never
long.
measured it. I never really checked out anybody else's board.
You just looked at it and you're like, perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Sean made it for me. It worked great. He made me the one I won at X Games on.
And then what type of trucks?
Indies, 169s with some X-Gate wheels on it, X-Gate 80mm wheels. And they the same wheels I ran at X Games, I ran like 8 months or a year later at Gravity, and one on the exact same setup. Nothing changed on it. I didn't even wrench on it or anything.
Wow. That would not fly anymore.
Well, we were like, it was all just wide open, high speed shit back then. It wasn't like super fucking tight technical crap like you guys run these days, you know?
Oh yeah, no, we've ruined wheels. And and follow-up question to that as well is like, what were the roads like that you were skating? Was it like kind of?
Hold on, let's finish off that story real quick first about the X.
Yeah, I'm kind of like asking this in relation, like, are the courses like, because nowadays most of the like great courses that we race in longboarding are drift-oriented courses, high speed, very technical, like very steep stuff. What is the course like that you guys are racing? Like, are there drifts? Is it straightaways?
No, it was mainly just ripping, man. It was really ripping. And I was out riding Glendora on free rides and shit. Like Gary used to try to slide some of the corners of Glendora, and I'd just stand up, air brake, and I'd pin it through the corner, and he'd come up, he'd beat me to the corner, slide, lose all of his speed, I'd apex the corner, and I'd be gone. I carried all my speed through the corner, and it was gone. You know, and he's all about sliding. I gotta slide these corners. I was like, see you, bro.
So naturally, you don't like sliding. I can get it.
Well, I didn't do it back then. I didn't have pucks on my gloves. I just wore leather gloves and I put wrist guards over so the leather wouldn't just grab and rip my wrists up. I had some sort of protection to my wrists.
Wow. So no slide pucks at all.
No slide pucks. Those guys, I think Biker was just putting them on. Gary had them on. Gary was messing with them a bit.
And then what type of like? And so 169 indies. Are you doing anything for your bushings, or you just stock indie bushings?
Yeah. So what I did with my indies is I would pound out the axles, and I'd take Z-roller axles and I'd pound them in there.
How come?
Because there was better tolerance.
The Z-roller had a bigger the axle or the kingpin?
No, the axle. The axle was a little bit bigger.
Oh, so it fit the bearing.
So the bearing would fit. It wouldn't slop around as much.
Yep.
And so I had a little bit tighter axles. I'd pound out the kingpin. I'd find some old kingpins and put those in. And I'd try to find old bushings that were taller so I could reef them down a bit tighter. So when I did reef them down, they still had bushing on them to turn. To where like when they started really lowering that kingpin so it wouldn't hang up on shit when they were doing grinds.
Yeah.
When they started lowering that thing, the bushing got smaller and smaller. So it didn't turn as much. So I put a longer kingpin in, try to find old stacked bushings. And just found something that worked. I had just one setup on bushings, and it worked for me. So I turned a couple turns, tighten up for high speed, loosen up a little bit, and it worked.
So you're here. Obviously, it worked. You got.
Yeah, I mean.
Okay, so pretty scientific shit going down. Do you have like a directional independent setup? Do you have like one wedge in the front or one?
Yeah. So with indies, if you want to set up indies for downhill, you got to offset the kingpins. So you either take out steering on the back and leave the front normal, or you add steering on the front, leave the back normal. So if you add steering on the front, you're going to run your trucks a little tighter because you got more steering.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you take it out of the back, you can leave the front truck. You can leave your trucks a little looser. I didn't like loose. I like my shit. I felt like a rock star when I'm on my board. I felt solid. So I like my shit hard. So that's why I raked the shit out of the front of my truck, so I could run my trucks harder and they would turn better.
So you'd wedge the front and de-wedge the back, or just wedge the front?
Wedge the front and leave the back fine.
Interesting.
Back, so.
Interesting. Okay, so scientific, we love it. Are you allowed to touch your board in the races?
We weren't, when I first started, we weren't allowed to.
You weren't allowed to grab your board. It's
No,
like
you weren't
grabbing
allowed to touch
rail
your board.
around a corner.
You touched your board, you got DQ'd. Back in the
You
day
couldn't
when
put-
Hudson and Hickey and those guys were racing, you were stand-up skateboarding, weren't allowed to squat down and grab your board. You know, when I first started doing stand-up.
But like, so if you were to like squat down on your board, but you had your hands up,
you're fine.
you just can't touch it. And you can't
touch
put a
the board.
hand on the ground.
No, you can put a hand on the ground. Cliffy was putting hands on the ground back then.
Okay, so you could like kind of slide around a corner, but you just couldn't touch your board.
Yeah, you couldn't grab rail. You couldn't grab onto the board, hold on to it. You couldn't grab rail. So that's what the rules were back when I first started, you know. And then it kind of, depending on associations, there was different associations. But like when I first started riding, I was watching guys like John Hudson, you know, Dan Wood, Roy Wakeman, you know, all these guys that were like this. The guys that started doing this shit in the 70s. Those were the guys I was watching, you know, and these guys weren't doing that. You know, Cliffy came up. I remember meeting Cliff.
Cliff who?
Cliff Coleman. Back in.
Isn't that the guy? The reason we
something
call
about
it
a slide.
because of a Coleman slide?
Yeah, something like that.
Cliff.
But yeah, so I met Cliff in, I think, 1980 at College Hill. He came up. He's wearing full one-piece lycra, tie-dye suit. We did little pucks on his fingers and shit. And shot him and Thrasher coming through a corner at College Hill, just laid out and stuff. But you know, he wasn't grabbing his board. He was just putting his hands on the ground and sliding.
You want to grab me one of these bad boys?
That's your big guy.
My cooler man.
But yeah, so
you know. Cold as the Rockies.
Cold as the Rockies. Cold as Hawaii.
Not as that one. Ooh.
So yeah, we were watching those guys. We weren't allowed to grab boards. So, but then when bikes
I thought people would enjoy that,
started
like
doing
our listeners, because most of the time people grab rail now, and back then, like, no, like that would fuck so many people up.
Do you know who the kid came up with? Don't be a pansy, ride like Lee Dansie. I would love to give that kid $5.
Don't be a pansy, ride like Lee Dansie. How
Yeah.
come? Because you're
Somebody
just
came
balls
up
to the
with it.
wall.
Some out of Oregon kid came up with it or something, and it's like, you know, because I never used to grab rail. You know, I fought it for so many years because I didn't think it was true stand up. It's so much easier to go out down and just grab the rail and reef a corner, dude. It's so easy. You know, it's like riding a snowboard and skateboarding. They're two different animals. You know, you're locked in. And
You're trying to
not
upset me by talking about snowboarding, but I know that I went snowboarding all winter and you didn't, so I'm just not upset right now.
I know. I haven't been for a while. I know.
You should go sometime. It'd be great. You can tell me all about not grabbing rail on the snowboards.
Yeah.
So get off the lift. Back in my day, we didn't even have snowboards.
No, we had a string on the front and you stood on the board.
We just had sorrels and duct tape.
It's called a scurfer.
A snurfer. Yeah. So I distracted you, but tell me. So you're at X Games.
Okay.
You're in the final of 6-man. So they had, what were the different divisions? 2-man and 6-man?
This was a demonstration, so we had 32 guys. It was 6-man. Six-man heats.
That's I like that. I like when you get a bunch of people on there. Just for the televised aspect of it, it's more entertaining.
So we're all in the gate, and I nailed the perfect gate. Fucking tits on 0, 0, 0 fucking reaction time, but get out in front of everybody.
Howd you nail that? Was it
I just went for it.
The weed and
I
painkillers?
was all jacked up.
Okay.
I was all jacked up by that point. The killers kicked in, the weed kicked in, everything kicked in, so I was all jacked up.
You got broken ribs, a shit shoulder.
Yeah. And so I just got the killer gate, man. I just fucking gated him and got out in front of everybody, or as far as I could. George was beside me. Or
did you have a pretty good push? Is that why you got out in front? Or you just
I had a fairly decent push when it came to stand up. I had a decent push. I could kick pretty good.
Oops.
You know, was up there.
And were you the only person on Indies?
Mallard was me and Mallard.
But
so everybody else was on Randalls, R2s or whatever, the ones with the bearings in them, and R1.
Oh yeah, the comp ones.
I don't know. This reverse kingpin was freaking me out back then. Still freaking me out.
Still freaking you out. Yeah,
but I'm rolling it. So
you're doing a good job. You're alive.
Yeah.
So you get the perfect gate.
Get the perfect gate. George is beside me, and it's a right-left chicane gate. George is beside me, and I'm just thinking I got to hold him out. You know, I've got the right away line to the right side.
You're on the right hand side.
I'm on the inside. He's on the outside. So I'm determining when he goes. He can't fucking go until I go. He can't go right until I go right. I've got the inside. He's on my outside. He's right there. So I'm just holding him out as long as fucking possible. So he's just looking straight ahead. Hold on. Then I dive. And right before that, there was a group, and at the back, Eric Lee ate shit. So he's in the bail. So now we're down to 5. As we go into chicane, I hold George out. I dive right. He hits the hay bales, which his board shoots out. And I go through. Biker makes it through. And then Rat collects Mallard, and they both go into the hay bales and eat shit.
So out of a 6-person heat, 2 people make it through, one being you, and the other being someone called Biker Sherlock, whoever that...
Michael Sherlock.
Michael Sherlock?
Yeah, Michael Sherlock's his real name.
Michael Sherlock?
Yeah.
I like Biker better. I think everyone does.
Yeah.
He had a Sobe sponsorship. How cool was that?
Yeah.
So it's you two, and based on the
guys
fact...
getting paid to actually skate.
Really?
Yeah.
How many people were getting paid back then to skate?
People were getting some stuff, but like literally doing it for a living, me and Biker were the only 2. I mean, because we had big sponsors.
What were your big sponsors?
I mean, Vans was my title sponsor. I was getting $1,500 a month.
Shoes, Vans, shoes.
Yeah. So why that's on there, man? It's their family, man. It's for life.
Dude, $1,500 a month from Vans.
I started off at $100, and over 10 years of riding for them, or 8 years, I can't remember how many years I rode for them. It just went up and went up and went up and went up, and at the end, I was making $1,500 a month. I almost had a pro shoe out. The freestyle motocross didn't go so crazy like it did. My pro shoe was blueprints were drawn up for it. It was ready to get a sign off on it and go, and it just never did because freestyle motocross came in. Kerry Hart and all these dudes came in there and blowing it up and taking all of our money.
That'll happen.
So, but yeah, Vans is my title sponsor. They were taking care of me good. Independent took care of me killer. As Sunglass sponsor, I was getting a couple $100 a month from them. I was pulling probably about $2,500 a month from sponsors.
In like 1995?
97, yeah. 97.
Damn.
All the way up to like 2000 and something.
Damn.
So,
did you have a job as well at this time, or you just like,
what
were you doing with all that money?
What money?
Okay.
It paid the bills with it. I'd pay rent and power and shit like that. And it's also on top of Vans give me $1,500 a month. They paid for my hotel. They paid for my airline ticket. They paid for my rental car. They paid for all my essentials. That was about $60,000 a year right there alone.
How many donuts have you done in a rental car?
Well, you don't know what we've done to rental cars.
Well, I mean,
yeah. So we used to do these other things instead of doing donuts. Donuts got boring. So
go as fast as you can and put it in park?
No.
Okay.
No. You just pull on the emergency brake.
Yeah.
And you just fucking drive it. And just drag the rear end around. Just until the train doesn't work anymore. So that's a good one. We had me, Biker got a van, and me and Sean got a van, and we were in Alabama or some shit at a race, and we're racing down a 2-lane highway, 1 lane going this way, 1 lane going that way, and we're on the shoulder, and we're doing like 90.
This isn't a longboard race. You guys are racing vehicles.
Yeah, we're at a skateboard race.
An unsanctioned vehicle race on public streets.
Well,
tell me more.
We were doing our thing, So we were racing down the street for a few miles, and nobody would give up because we're skaters, and they're like, "Fucking somebody give up."
Oh, so you're going like full speed, like
90 miles an hour,
pinning these vans.
Yeah, and they're barking, and we've been doing screaming. We've been doing bark. We call them barking dogs. We've been doing barking dogs all day in the one.
What are barking dogs?
Lock on the e-brake and drive it around. It's a front-wheel drive car and just drag the rear end around. So we've been doing barking dogs and thing all night long, and so we're racing down the freeway. And we get to where we're going to eat, and there's a grass field. So we pull in the grass field and open the door to get out, and fucking Goulart pulls up, and his front-wheel drive van, so he turns the front wheel, and he pulls out right where the fucking door's open and just starts reefing it. And just sprays the whole inside of the car with this red clay mud, and just sprays it everywhere. So we go in the restaurant, we eat, and come back out. And we're like, okay, dude, how are we going to get this fucking dirt out of the car? So we got the great idea. There's a fucking car wash over there. Let's go to the car wash. And so we rolled down all the windows, opened the fucking doors up, went to the car wash. Well, that wasn't a good idea because it turned the clay. It was kind of sort of dry, a bit wet, into mud, and it just leached into everything. So then we're really fucked. So we're driving through different counties, and we end up somewhere, and there's fireworks. Yeah! And it's like, everybody's like, well, yeah, going fireworks! So we pull over and we get fireworks. And so all of us bought like $50, $60 worth of fireworks. There's 4 or 5 of us in the car. So we got like $400 or $500 worth of fucking fireworks in the car.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't shut them off. The race got canceled something. So we got to beeline it back to Atlanta to drop the rental cars off to fly back to LA to race at San Dimas.
Wait, so you went from Atlanta to Alabama?
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
And
we
what
had a
race
race in
was?
between there somewhere too. I can't remember. It's so fucking long ago. But yeah, so you go to take the car back, right? And this time, dude, it was like we pull up to the stoplight and start to go, and the thing would go, and it would do like 10 miles an hour, 15 miles an hour, 20, and then we get going. We were doing 30, and it pick up. You know, we got street luges strapped to the top, so we get it all. We limp this thing back there, right? We pull into the.
It's filled inside and out with mud.
Yeah, and it's just fucking trash, dude. It's fucking making some horrible sounds. So we pull in, dude, and the guy comes out to inspect the thing, right? And he's like, and we still got all these bags of fireworks, and we're like. He's like, well, hey, man, those fireworks. He seemed like really interested in the fireworks. And we're like, hey, bro, you know, the car's kind of fucked up a little bit. You know, we give you these fireworks. Will you pass it? And he like opens the one bag. And he's like, whoa. And he goes, just this bag? And we're like, all 5 bags, bro. And he's just like, well, his car over, opens the trunk, and starts dumping the fireworks in there. He's like, yeah, you guys are good to go.
Wow.
Yeah. So
fireworks will get you
always get the car insurance, man. When you're renting a car.
Oh, yeah.
Always, especially if you're at a skate event, dude, because there's been some close calls. I mean, I was riding with my old teammate. He used to just reach over and grab the fucking e-brake. You know, I'd be doing like 50, and you know, or I was like, we're at, what was it, some race at fucking up at Castaic Lake, and we're in the car, and we're bombing back up the hill, and Prair's got the U-Haul, and he's driving up with everybody in the back, and we're just ripping up the hill. I'm doing like 60, 70 up the hill. And he just rips the e-brake and just and I 180'd it and right next to a cliff. Boom, stop there. And I'm like, fuck, Bob's coming, dude. So I'm like, fuck you, Sean. I did e-brake down, slap it, and reverse it, a Rockford, and go up the hill. As I'm driving up the hill.
What's a Rockford?
When you're going backwards and you just rip the front end around
yeah.
and go for it. So I pull a Rockford, beating up the hill, and I'm looking back, and the whole road is just covered in smoke from where we done this fucking ripped my e-brake on me. Just black marks coming around. I see the fucking Bob coming around the corner, and it's his race. And he's coming around the corner, and I'm like, great, he knows it's us. We're fucked. You know, get to the top.
What makes these U-Haul like skid marks in the middle of the road?
Yeah, so I'm like, get to the hill. We gotta hide, bro. We gotta hide. So we made ourselves fucking disappear for a while. And he comes over and he finds me. He's like, man, what the fuck did you and Sean do? I see fucking skid marks up the middle of the damn road and smoke everywhere. And I see the back of your car going up around the corner. Like, we didn't do nothing. It was like later that night. I'm like, hey, Bob. It wasn't my fault, dude. I'm flying up the hill and Sean grabbed the e-brake on me. You gotta do what you can to
It
get
is
out
what
of
it
that.
is. Yeah. Oh my God. That is.
Dude, I got stories from Miles, dude. Did so much shit back in the day, dude. It's insane.
I mean, dude, if Vans is giving you $1,500 a month to pretty much fuck off, and they're paying like for your rental, everything, like
everything, dude.
I
I just call. I need to go here next week. Okay.
I got a pogo
ticket will be there for you.
I got a pogo stick race I need to get to, and they're just like, great.
Yeah, it's great too. It's all the tickets I got. It say Vans on them because Vans bought them, but it just said Vans on the bottom. So I'd fucking keep all my receipts and take home the shit and use it as tax write-off.
Wow. Wow. I love it. So you're just like consistently killing it.
Oh yeah, dude. It was insane, dude. And on top of it, I was, it was back in my party days, so I was like selling weed, like it was going out of style. It was out of hand, dude.
Yeah.
It was out of hand. I was just, it was like you were a rock star back in those days. I mean, it was a whole different ball game, You were like traveling all over the world, fucking going to these events that were insane. I've been to parties, Tony Hawk's like 3D or that Skater 3 release party in San Francisco, dude. The private parties, dude, with like crazy ice sculptures and freaking Jaeger shots down the ice sculptures and just shit out of hand, dude.
Wow. I guess if you're going to the X Games and you're making $12,000 and like that kind of stuff, like you get invited to some pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, well, plus my sponsors were involved with a lot of shit. I've got connections through my sponsors, the guys I used to get sponsored at by Vans. Everett Rosecrans, he was the guy who was sponsoring me, that was the team manager, and I hung out with him a lot. So, and he had his fingers in, with the BMX guys and all these guys. So, like when I go to events, Vans would pay for my hotel, for the first 3 days of the event, and then after that, I'd have to fend for myself. So what I would do is I'd go to the other Vans team riders when they got their rooms, and I would make buddies with them, and I'd go hang out with those guys. They let me come crash in their room, so I'd go crash in their room for 3 days. And it would have to pay
like
for
if you had 3 Vans riders at an event, you could be there for 9 days.
Yeah, if they're in 2 different sports and they were getting their room paid for that time, or they got a better deal than you did or something. I don't know.
Okay, so it was like kind of like room hopping, and naturally when you start room hopping, I mean, there's a couple of longboarding events that I've been to that like when everyone's in the hotel and like shit just goes
dude,
just like immediately. Like I was at a longboarding event on the East Coast, and there were probably like 250 skaters there, and like within like 3 hours of being there, like the rumors were just like the police are looking for so and so. He took a shit in the elevator. So and so was in the pool fornicating. Some kid lit the dumpster on fire. There's like fucking chairs being thrown off the roof. And this is like an event attended by 16-year-olds. So I can't imagine how crazy it must have been when it's like you being paid by Vans to be there, ripping e-brakes whenever you can.
I mean, it's like you read in these hotels, like 5-star hotels, and there'd be Deegan rolling his fucking dirt bike through the center of the hotel, taking it to his room. Because he didn't give a fuck, dude. The motocross guys are like, fuck you, don't give a shit, you know? That's how I met Deegan, dude. He was wheeling his bike through the freaking hotel, and he fucking knocks on my door, and he goes, "It smells awful good in there." He's like, "Come on in, man." He fucking put his bike outside in the fucking hall and came in and puffed.
Dude, he's not leaving his bike outside because he doesn't want anyone to steal it.
You didn't give a fuck. Nobody's gonna touch his bike, dude. It's metal militia, dude. You get your ass fucking handed to you, dog. Those guys come in a pack, and they don't fuck around. Dude, I'm serious, dude. What was it? A 99 Gravity Games rap party with all the people. And we're in the like Weston or something downtown. They've got these special little bars set up, roller bars, you know, and people set up a bunch of bars around. And everybody's drinking. I look over and I see Deegan and Twitch and I think Ronnie Feist, and they're hanging out behind the bartender. And they're looking fucking snarly, dude. I looked at Deegan and he gave me eye to eye, and it was like, motherfucker, you know, what are you looking at? And I was like, oh, yeah, Deegan's up to something. So I kind of look away. All of a sudden, a fight starts. These 2 chicks, right? 2 hot chicks, fully blasted tats, right? Fucking start going at it, right? And everybody's looking. They're just going at it on the floor, right? Just fucking tagging each other, fighting, right? And I look over, and the bartender's like this, looking over, right? And there's fucking Deegan and Twitch, and they're just grabbing bottles. They're grabbing bottles behind the thing, right? So at this point, the girls stop, and they start kissing and just start going at it on the floor, right? So then they're like, hey man, we got to shut this party down now. And so they shut the party down after that. And so they're all drinking the bottles as they're going out. So it's the militia, all the militia guys, and the Schwinn team, which was like Dave Asado, fucking that Canadian kid, I can't remember his name, a bunch of these Schwinn guys, right? And so they fucking start getting in a beef going down the escalator. And the guy from Flesh Room Films, my buddy, is sliding down the center of the fucking escalators with his flash. He's taking pictures, right? Pictures of fucking Deegan just railing Asado, just fucking railing him, dude. It's insane. So we all get outside. They split all that shit up. Cops show up, right? Pepper sprayed us all. It was fucked, dude. That shit sucked, dude. But yeah, it's just, I mean, I'm telling you, man, the militia runs hard, man. I just, you know, I mean, I know one year I'm at the X Games, what was it? In San Francisco. I'm at the X Games, and they're like, we're going to book you for 2 hours. Yeah, we need you for 2 hours. You got to do an autograph session. And I'm like, sure, okay. Well, they pair up 2 athletes, and they put them in booths side by side, and you do autographs. Who the fuck do I get paired up with? Take a guess.
I'm going to go with Brian Egan.
No. Oh. You got one?
Tony Hawk. Tony Hawk?
What? I got fucking paired up with Tony Hawk to do an autograph session.
Is this before?
Luckily.
Is this before or after he landed the 900? It was like 98, 99.
Yeah, it was. God, it's San Francisco.
I think he landed there.
Fuck. I don't. It might have been the year before.
Either way, he's a big deal.
Oh, dude, he was fucking huge back then, dude. He's still huge.
Tony fucking Hawk is sitting next to me.
I've known Tony. I've met Tony a few times over the years. I know Tony. Tony knows.
So how big is your line and how big is Tony's line?
Tony's line is big, but see what I had going.
Tony's line's a little bigger than mine.
Oh yeah, but check this out. Though. See, remember I was sponsored by Vans, right? Vans takes care of the riders, so I had fucking posters. like this big of me, full on Vans posters, right? And Tony's over there, and he's only got his little posters, right? So I'm rallying, signing autographs. He's signing autographs and shit. His line was bigger than mine, but mine was no slouch. I mean, I signed the packs. There were packs of 500, and I think I signed 3 or 4 packs. So, and it
Jesus,
was like,
so in like 2 hours you blasted.
oh, I just, so the whole deal is when you're doing a fucking autograph session like that, and they're coming at you, is just to write your name and hand it to them. Okay? When they start saying, can you write John on it, or can you write Betsy on it, or Fred, somebody's name on it, then the guy behind him hears that, and he wants a name written on it, and then it slows it down, and everybody wants a name written on it. And you won't believe how many different ways people spell their fucking name. So I'd be like John, or H-O-N, and they're like, no, it's J-O-N. I'm like, oh, fuck it. So I'd wad it up and throw it over my shoulder. I had a big pile of fucking posters behind me that would just spell the names wrong, and wad it up and throw it over my shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I think I held my own pretty good with Tony, you know, because he's fucking hawk, dude. He's royalty. He's skate royalty, man. You know, I was like, it kind of was intimidating that I'm like, well, who am I paired up with? And they go, Tony Hawk. Okay.
Oops.
You know,
that's fucking crazy.
But you know, I mean, like Travis, I've known for years too. I mean, I know a lot of these guys. Like Travis, I took video footage of him doing his backflip into the bay in San Francisco, 98, 97, did the backflip into the bay. Well, they didn't air any of that because the Save the Bay Foundation freaked out because he drove a bike into the bay. Even though he dropped his oil and his gas out of it, it's still a motorcycle in the bay, and they flipped out about it. X Games didn't give him any prize money because he won first place, but no fear.
Wait, what happened?
So at the end, he'd already won the gold medal, and he came out for a second run because nobody beat him because he was destroying people back then. Mm-hmm. So there was a berm in the back corner and about 20 feet of the dock, and they went into the bay because it was all held on these docks in San Francisco, on the actual docks. So he comes ripping down. I knew he was going to do it, so I'm standing in one of the towers, and I've got my video camera, so I'm videotaping him because I know he's going to do it. Shoots across, does a backflip, or tries to do a backflip, and he gets ejected off the bike and just eats shit, goes into the bay. And so they were like taking everybody's camera footage that was leaving, you know, and they didn't want to get out and see this footage of him jumping in the bay. So I went out one of the VIP entrances because I was VIP, and I get back with the footage, and I got the footage of him back from the bay. Well, Jerry Bernardo used to paint all my helmets, and he used to do Motor World. He's like an announcer guy, but he's a fucking awesome helmet painter, and he used to hand paint all my helmets for me. And so Travis knew I had the footage of Travis doing the backflip, so he told Travis I had the footage. Well, Travis called me and asked me if I would give the footage to George Michael's Sports Machine for a piece he was doing. And I'm like, you know, it's worth money, you know. And it's worth like $2,500, dude. I know what my footage are worth. You know, I've sold footage before. I know what it's worth. And so the guy calls me and he's like, we don't have a budget for that. And I said, well, that's what it's worth. That's what I'm selling it for. I'm not going to give it to you. So Travis calls me back and he's like, dude, can you please give it to him? It'd really make my piece and it'd really make me happy. So I'm like, hey, fuck, Travis, I'll do it for you. So call the guy back. We agree on $500. So he sends me a $500 check. I send him the footage. He gets the footage, comes back. A couple days later, he said, "You're right. That is worth $2,500." I was like, "Fuck you, dude. Why are you gonna rub it in like that shit?" So like, Travis calls me back and he's like, "Lee, I'm so stoked. Thanks. It made my piece." And like, 2 or 3 weeks later, I get a package in the mail, a brown envelope and shit. And rip the fucker open, and it's a jersey from Travis. You know, one of his fucking Fox jerseys, $199, because he's ridden for a bunch of companies since then. But that's like one of his like smaller race jerseys that he had from Loretta Lynn's or something back in the day. And he said, "Lee, you the man, Travis Pastrana," and autographed it to me. You know, and then sent me a note that looked like a little 12-year-old wrote it. His fucking handwriting is terrible, I'll tell you that much. But yeah, so you know, I like over the years I got to meet all these guys, and you know, it's like, but it was weird to be able to do that autograph session with Tony. It was kind of, you know, intimidating at first, but once I was in the groove and my line was not as bad as I thought it was, you know.
I mean, yeah,
because that would be humiliating having 10 people and he's got 200, dude.
He's got like a line around the block, and they're like, "Lee, we're gonna have to move your line because Tony Hawk's line is so big."
I'd say his had probably about 50 in it. Mine had like 20, 25, 20, 25, 20, you know. But it fluctuated.
Hey, but somebody showed up to ask for your autograph, which is perfect.
And it fluctuated. People would come over from my line to his line and his line to my line, because I'd see people that have his little. That's how I knew he had a little Pincy ass
Poster.
little poster. Not a poster.
Yeah, because they'd come through your line, you'd see it, and you'd be like,
yeah,
wow.
yeah. And I know he saw mine.
So I mean, I know it's the worst, but in this race, you beat biker Sherlock, right?
Oh, okay, we're back to the race. Yes. Yes. I smoked his ass. So, but yeah, I mean, like I said, I didn't take anybody out. I had the right of way to the line, and I waited the last second to take it. That's racing, you know? If he wanted to, he should have fucking leaned on me and pushed on me and made me start turning. You know?
Well, you know what they say: if you're not first, you're last, and that's
Yeah. Well, or you're fucking the silver medalist for 4 times.
yeah. Rubbing is also racing.
Yeah,
You know,
I believe to an extent, yeah. But rubbing's racing and fucking sports with engines, or you know. But when it comes to gravity, man, that guy's got inertia. And he's coming by you, and you rubbing on him racing. That's bullshit. You're taking his inertia away. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, I saw that Adam Parsons guy do it to fucking Caps up at Danger Bay or at Jake's Rash. Fucking Caps is coming by for the pass on the inside, and Parsons just leaned on him, and fucking their fucking sex suits fucking grabbed on each other and fucking came across the line.
For the people at home that aren't here, what's a sex suit?
What do they call those bondage suits or whatever? Those speed suits. Don't they buy them at sex stores or something? Yeah.
I'm gonna just let you.
They call it gimp suits.
I'm gonna just try and let you dig your way out of this one.
No, I found out because like I couldn't find speed suits back in our day, and fucking I was asking Max about it, and I said like $20 at a sex shop or something. They call it a gimp suit, and they're speed suits. They like come over.
Really?
Yeah.
They're using gimp suits to race.
Yeah,
longboards.
without a mask on it. It's a gimp suit without a mask. You can order them through sex shops, I guess.
No fucking way.
Yeah.
No.
Dude, are you fucking dating? You don't know this shit, bro?
I don't race.
Oh,
I
that's
don't put.
right. You're not.
I'm
you're
not
a
a
slider guy.
You say that like I'm gonna be offended. Like, yeah, I'm the slider guy.
I know. I'm just giving.
I can turn my board sideways.
I know. I wish I could do it. It's a skill.
You can do it.
I'm not gonna take the abuse and the punishment to learn right now, dude. I'm 54 and my body's haggard.
So all the abuse and punishment that you put your body through before, what was that for? You could have been learning to slide.
Oh, that's like riding dirt bikes and snowboarding and shit. That's all the shit I got hurt in.
Really?
Yeah. All the cross training crap is where I got hurt. Dirt bikes a lot.
Dirt bike is cross training for what?
Fucking getting rad. I mean, seriously.
Because wide open fourth gear is fun for everyone.
Not wide open fourth. Fucking second and third are fun too. Getting to fourth is fun. Especially when that tire's spinning. You're just holding on.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. You know, jumping off 40-foot cliff snowboarding and coming in early because you think it's fucking hard pack and it's a little bit fluffy, and then you hit the hard pack underneath and your legs are straightened out and your knee comes back into your face and explodes your nose.
Have you broken your nose? Yeah, I was about to say, it looks crooked as fuck.
It goes flat. I could take rights all day long. Southpaw hits me.
You're just going to start crying?
Yeah.
Well, dude, you'll be happy to know that.
You're Southpaw?
No. No, I would never use my hands to punch another person after breaking my knuckles so many times.
Seriously?
Yeah, dude, look at my pinkies. They don't lay flat no more.
What the fuck? You're not hitting that part of the hand. You hit somebody, you hit it with those 2 knuckles. You don't fuck with those. That's how you get boxer's breaks.
Hey, man.
You gotta know how to protect yourself, Holmes.
I don't want to.
Sometimes you probably pretty bad. With
I don't really know how to punch. I'll be honest. Like,
you've been in some beefs, haven't you, in your time?
Yeah, but I mean, I use other tactics to win. Yeah. I've got a big mouth. I typically can talk my way out of a lot of stuff, which is very helpful. But the other thing,
usually can't, but that's fine. I'm in.
But I mean, the other thing is like I've got a lot of optical distractions going on. Like first off, I'm 6'3", I'm 230, and like
it doesn't bother me, dude. I'd fight a guy that's but any day over a small guy. I've had my ass handed to me so many times by small guys.
Yeah, dude. but you're crazy. Like, of course you'd fight me, but a lot of people wouldn't. A lot of people just give me the benefit of the doubt. Like, oh man, he probably will sit on me.
Okay, that's most of the time. Like I said, dude, big guys usually push around the small guys, and then people just get intimidated by them. They usually don't beef. That's why I'd rather go after a big guy, unless a big guy handles himself. Usually, you know, most of the time, big guys are pushing around the small guys. Is most of the time. Yeah, that's why I don't give a fuck, dude.
Well, you've been in some fights. You were telling me about, like, I mean, I don't want to throw you under the bus.
That's another time, but you know, I've been around. I'm English. I've been,
Yeah, you were telling me. I mean, you were just like, oh yeah, I'm English, so obviously I've been in a fight or two.
Oh, I've been over there, dude, and fucking ain't nothing over there. Over here, people pull out guns and shoot you. Boom, you're dead. And they think it's violent, dude. Violent is when you knock a motherfucker out and you drag them over to a curb and put their face on the curb and stomp all their fucking teeth out.
That's
violent to me.
That's
pulling
England.
out a gun and shooting somebody ain't violent. You know, and when somebody's down over there, dude, they just keep fucking railing on you. You know, as you knocked out over here, somebody knocks somebody out and they usually walk away and you see the guy laying on the ground. You know, over there, you're fucking out, dude. That's the perfect time to really fuck you up. You know.
Oh man,
it's some brutal. I've seen some shit over there that make your stomach turn,
dude.
But
no, I'm a dainty flower. I'm not a fighter.
I'm no badass or anything, but I can throw down and I won't. I ain't afraid to get fucking hit. I mean, this face ain't no thing here. I got scars
as
here.
As Troy Yardway says, I ain't missing teeth for nothing. Yeah, that's. I mean,
that little girl.
Oh my God, he's I think we were talking about it on a who would you rather if you had to be in a fight with someone between Troy, Les Robertson, or King Brian.
I'd go with Troy any fucking time. There's no way in hell I would even think about fucking with Wes because I've heard fucking nightmare stories about.
We're not Wes Sampson. We're talking Les Robertson. Wes Sampson would be a no.
Yeah, Wes is like, dude, you give me 10 guys.
Anybody but Wes.
No, fucking Wes is that dude's a fucking maniac, dude. He fucking bit some guy's ear off and spit it down on his fucking face.
Hearsay.
Hearsay?
I don't know. I wasn't there. I can neither confirm nor deny.
But yeah, it's pretty good confirmation. Reggy's pretty good. I don't know if Reggy's too much of a fib tower. But
yeah, no. I mean, that's so. What's
all right? Back to skateboarding.
I mean, I don't know. Ripping people's ears off. So kind of cool. What got you into longboarding? How old are you?
Old, 54.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
Dude, you're doing great.
Except for the teeth, you know. Those are trophies I got because of drugs, you know.
What?
Don't do drugs.
Or you'll end up,
toothless.
That'll happen.
You know, I mean,
you can also end up toothless without doing drugs.
Yeah, but I mean, I did a lot of drugs.
Were you not the good ones, I assume?
All the good ones.
Oh, well, I mean, yeah.
All the hard ones. So everything out there. I mean, it was.
So what happened? Well, I mean, yeah. Do you want to? What'd you do? You went from.
All right. So let's start off. Let's see, kid. Let's see. I was born in England. Moved over here when I was 7 years old. Went to the American school system. So I come over here, first day of school. I'm a British school kid. Mom sends me to school in gray shorts, white shirt, tie, plaid shoes, fucking socks up to shin high, fucking proper little English boy going to school in proper English uniform. Fucking kids rip me a new asshole, bro. 70s school. So, yeah, it was torture. Moved to a couple different schools, moved around. Got a skateboard when I was young, kind of messed around with it a little bit. Shit, maybe 10 or so. And then got into BMX for about 3 or 4 years. Was doing a lot of BMX. Raced a little bit. Got a couple trophies here and there. Second and third place. Nothing big.
Got a lot of bridesmaids.
Yeah, more bridesmaids again. Fucking got that shit. Fucking curse. But so I raced BMX for a while, and then my BMX bike got stolen. A friend of mine said he did 50 miles an hour on a skateboard. And I said, you're full of shit. You can't go 50 miles an hour on a skateboard. And
I've heard that.
This is like 70.
I've heard that in like 2000. Hearing it in 1970, I'd be on your side. Like,
yeah,
there's no fucking way.
So I went out and watched him do it.
And he did it.
A guy named Mike Smith got me into it. Where
were you living at the time?
Bellevue.
Okay.
Bellevue. Yeah, grew up through Bellevue. When I first moved here from England, I lived in Kirkland, and then went to Bellevue. I spent most of the years in Bellevue. Went to Medina, Chinook Junior High, and then Bellevue High School. But went into things. Got the skateboard. Went out there. Watched him go down Double O Denny Park in Juanita, and doing 60 miles an hour. He went by that sound. The street luge, just the sizzling of the bearings, and it's like so quiet. There's no cars coming down or anything, but you hear it coming and you hear it go. It's
just
like,
the urethane on the road, man.
And the wheel and the bearings just fucking, 12,000 RPMs or some shit, things just ripping and the air going by and everything. It was just had a sound to it, man. It was like elegant, it was violent, great, violent but graceful, I don't know how to explain it, but it just like, hell yeah. He's like, you want to go for a double run? I said, fuck yeah. He threw me on the back of his luge and Took me down the hill like 50 miles an hour. Like, fuck, I'm hooked. And he's like, well, here's a skateboard. And it was a Henry Hester graphite loaded slalom with a handle on the front. And that's what we used to run. Like fucking small short boards with like, I think I was running trackers at that time. Tracker 6 tracks and some Kryptonic C70s from back, 70s, 80s time before the incident with Kurt happened where he sued him and they messed up the wheel. It was a decent wheel back then.
What happened?
Kurt had a blow up on one of his wheels and went in a guardrail and messed up his ankle pretty bad, and he sued Kryptonic, and then they ended up putting a disclaimer on the back, can't go over 20 miles an hour, and they took the fins out of the wheel that bonded it to them, so they melted easier. And so they went to shit. But so used to go out on these things.
Wait. Have you ever been on a street luge or a stand-up board when like a wheel goes?
Oh, fuck yeah. I used to blow up wheels all the time. Blow up wheels. Oh, I've had wheels explode into 3 pieces.
Dude, explain. I love these stories because I grew up longboarding in like 2008. And like, even though you're laughing, you're like, dude, that's like 30 years before I started. That's 30 years after I started skating. Like, people are always blown away when I tell them, like, yeah, we didn't have zealous bearings. Like, that wasn't a thing. We didn't have built-in bearings. And because of that, like, sliding's gotten way easier. We didn't have stone ground wheels. Sliding's gotten a lot easier. Mm-hmm. So, like, what was it like being from an era where, like, the gear is just fucking failing if you go fast on it?
Fucked.
I
mean, I had a wheel. So when I was on the Hester with the handle, we'd kick into a hill and then we'd sit down on the board and go. And so double O Denny, we run a double O Denny like 3 or 4 times, 4th run down, and you can melt a wheel.
What's Double O Denny?
Double O Denny Park in Juanita goes down to Holmes Point. There's a beach down there.
Yep, I know what you're talking about.
So you go from the gas station up there down,
Oh, this is something that you could only do a long time ago because like now that road's so busy.
No, it was busy as fuck back then, dude. You just gotta fucking time the cars right. So we used to fuck with joggers down there, dude. Jogger be jogging down the road, there'd be no car, and fucking just come up behind him with like 60, like a pack of us, like 4 or 5 of us, and go like that far away from their ankles, just and they jump and freak out. But one time a guy jumped into the road and I almost tagged him. But so we'd be going down there, and on the butt board, it was open, so you're starting to melt because you feel a little bit of you get a little jibble, and then all of a sudden the back of your leg would get fucking hot as shit because all the urethane would spray out of the nylon from the hub, because back then the hubs were nylon, they weren't urethane. So it was a nylon hub with urethane to it, so there was no chemical bond or anything. So the wheel would separate from it, and if the bearing got too
warm,
hot,
the urethane got softer and more pliable.
And so it would separate from the hub. But if you got the fucking hub too hot from the bearing zinging or whatever, the hub would get hot, and the hub would melt, and fucking the nylon would melt. And so we call it wheels puking. So the wheels puking, you start feeling that shit in the back of your leg. And I just back then I just wear Levi's and a t-shirt and a fucking flyaway helmet. It was like we didn't have leathers and all that crap back when I first started. That is even if we wore a helmet. I mean, we didn't wear helmets back in the days.
And so you start going down this road, wheels start puking, like which is literally just hot as urethane spraying up against your skin.
So then you stop and get off the board, and then you can just pull the wheel straight off the bearings. And
the wheel straight off the bearing core?
Yeah, the nylon hub would melt around the bearings and the hub, and everything would be all one melted fucking globule of shit. And you'd pull the wheel off, and then it had like spray marks all out around the wheel where the black nylon sprayed out. And then you have urethane from the inside because the nylon hub's melted, and now it's melting urethane.
Oh my!
And so the urethane would puke out, and so they'd be all up the back of your leg, and you take off your fucking pants, and you have little blisters on the back of your leg from where the urethane was so hot. Jeez. So then I made a street luge back then. My boards were completely different back then. I called them a sled. So it was about that long, didn't have feet pegs, about 12 inches wide, and it was slammed to the ground. And the trucks and wheels went up inside. So I had 2 bars down the inside, so the wheel was here. So if the wheel would start to go, it would just hit the side. It wouldn't come off. Because other times, the wheel would just go bing, and you'd see the wheel go off that way, and you go and grind down, and the wheel would just go fucking floating off the road somewhere. Mm-hmm. And so, it saved the wheel from going off. So I didn't have really too many problems with the wheels melting and going out, but they'd melt and get fucked up. Where you said
it's like 4 runs would do it.
3 or 4 runs, yeah, depending on how many times you run the wheel before. Depending on how much Because back then, I was a kid, man. I was buying my own shit. I didn't get free shit, dude. When you get free shit, it's a whole different ball game, man. You know, when you got fucking, 20 pairs of Vans and 5 boxes of fucking trucks and, all this shit around, and it's a whole different ball game. But when you're buying your own shoes, Mom, like when I first started skating, Mom was like, I just bought you those shoes last week, man. What the fuck? Why are you walking on your heels, Because I grind the heels out, so I walk all fucked up and fuck my knees up. I learned what Kmart was real quick because I'd start buying my own shoes at like 14.
Okay. So you've got all these. Oh my! I just can't imagine having a wheel blow up on you.
Mm-hmm.
That would happen just because of the fact that you'd be running a set of wheels for so long.
Oh no, it's not just that. I mean, even times. So then I started getting sponsored and shit, and I go down to California, and Bob would get sponsored by Kryptonic, so he'd just hand me a box of wheels, and fucking. So I just when I go down there and ride. We could blow up, probably we go through 3 or 4 sets of wheels a day.
Just
because we were riding constantly back then. When
you're
I was
not
going down
sliding them. You're just like
blowing them up or warping them. Like they come apart from the hub. You'd see like a little bit of your thing coming out. So I'm not riding that fucker again. It's gonna blow up. I'm not gonna get a full run.
Yeah.
So toss it. So we'd be in the back. We go down and take a run. We get in the back of the truck. And we'd be in the back of the truck, fucking checking our wheels, putting on a new wheel. Boom. As we're going up the hill, tossing wheels out. Boing, watching them fly off the road and shit. Stupid shit, dude. This is back before it was we're not politically correct, Everybody's going to hate me now. Polluting the planet.
Oh, my God. That's the fucking
But yeah, dude, when you're doing 60 miles an hour flying up a hill and you just toss the wheel up in the air and it hits the ground and it goes, you don't know which way it's going.
Crazy.
Sounds fun.
I was just thinking about how fucking cool that would be to be like. I mean, how sweet would that be? I
go through 2 pairs of shoes in one day. These 2 or 3 pairs of shoes. If we're riding GMR, I can go through 3 pairs of shoes.
I'm not advocating this, but I think at all events, if you change wheels, it should be on the U-Haul. And then as you're going, you should have to throw your scrubby out the back. And if someone hits it on the way down, like.
Oh, dude, these things, when they hit the ground, dude, they took off. They were gone. They were off the side of cliffs and roads and shit. I mean,
I definitely have thrown a couple wheels like over, like, have you ever seen like a hairpin that doubles back on itself and like throwing a wheel from like the upper part of the road to the lower part of the road? And when it hits, it is just.
Well, try when you're doing
like
65, 70
like
miles an hour.
Ball. That's why I'm. I'm thinking like as a man who's been around a lot of longboard like gear.
And it was those Kryptonics, so the sides were all rounded on.
Oh, they get the
dude.
best.
It's all urethane, dude. It was just if you took it and you hit it hard, it would
just
thinking, or you just throw it up in the air about 10 feet, and the time it came down, it was. I mean, it's doing 60 miles an hour in the air, So when it hits the ground, it wants to go its way. So it would take off and go different ways.
Oh my God!
So yeah,
I mean, that's definitely something that people nowadays would be like, "I can't believe you did that." But I mean, it's past the statute of limitations, so no one can hold this against you anymore.
Yeah,
you're perfect. You're good to go.
Yeah. So also, like, we did Mount Rainier one time. Guys came up from California. I think it was Ken Kenny and stuff, and Pereira, and a bunch of guys came up from California. So I took them out to Mount Rainier. What's the side that Crystal's on? Is that Paradise?
Depending, yeah,
that's
kind of.
Paradise
There's like a back side of Paradise. Like the front side of Paradise goes down to like the ranger station, but if you're trying to get back to like Crystal Mountain during the summertime,
well, you go past Crystal and you go up, and then you boom, and then you're at the ranger station, and you go up to the view, Paradise, I think it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we go up there, we take them up to Crystal, we run Crystal a couple times, and shit. And so shit. So we've done Crystal a couple times and shit. So then I take him up to Mount Rainier, right? And we get in past the Rangers, and we go up, and we go all the way top. So
what happens if the Rangers catch you?
Well, we'll get to that part in a minute, Nate. You just hold on a second.
Just hold on a second, little whippersnapper.
It gets good. So we're rolling down Paradise side, and I mean it is smoking fast. I mean, and there's no guardrails, no nothing, just fucking trees and mountain beside you.
Yeah,
and it's just a kink pretty much straight away with little kinks in it. And so you come off a big hairpin at the top, it's a lefty, I think, and then we rode from there. And you come down at the end of it, there's like a hairpin right, and it comes into some corners, and then you get down close to the ranger station.
Mm-hmm.
So we're bombing the fast part, dude. And it's probably the fastest I've ever ran a street luge. Doing damn close to 90. On Kryptonic C70s. Back in 90, I think it was 96, 95, 96, 97. It was really, or it might have been the early 90s. So ripping down this thing, and there's a picture of me and Bob, actually. I did a picture we actually got a picture of it that day, and it was in it was an ad I did for a clothes company I was sponsored by, and we're coming down. I passed Bob, and I think Curtis was driving the van, and he said he was trying to catch Bob, and he was doing mid to high 80s trying to catch Bob, and I was like probably 50 yards in front of Bob, and we come down. And I know I'm getting down to this corner, and I don't know how fast I'm fucking going. I know I am screaming. And so I go to pull my foot off to brake off the luge. I just kind of kick my foot off to brake off the luge. And as I kick my foot off, the wind is so gnarly, it just grabs my leg and just rakes me like this. And so it turned me from my lane into the other lane. I almost went straight into the side of the mountain. It just ripped me over that violently. I'd never experienced anything like that before.
That much wind drag. It was the wind drag.
Because that's how, I was clipping, bro. And so I pull that under control. I make the corner. We're ripping down. And all of a sudden, see the Ranger coming up. And
he was stoked. He was looking for one of those big Vans autograph posters, right?
No. So when it came out, right when I come in the corner, I saw the Ranger, right? And my wheel blows up. It explodes into 3 pieces. So the board's grinding down the road.
No puking.
No puking. It just exploded, dude. It exploded. It was all crystallized and shit. And it would all fit right back together. So I'm running up the street trying to grab my shit. Right? I'm grabbing the wheel.
What's your thought process? Like you're grabbing all your shit like I'm going to get away? Or
I want the wheel. I blew a wheel out, dude. I want the wheel. And I got to get my shit into the back of this fucking...
I can relate to this. I do want the wheel.
I want the wheel. And I got to get the shit in the back of the van as quick as I can. Right.
So that the Ranger doesn't see that you've been doing bad.
And luckily enough, Mike Smith was coming down on one of my loaner boards I loaned him. And he's coming down. And so I get in the thing. Bobby gets in it. We go to the bottom and we're pulled over. And he comes down. Ranger comes down. He's got Mike. He pulled across the road and stopped Mike. So he's got Mike in his truck. And he's got the board, right? And so he's like, where are the other 2 riders at? Where are the other 2 riders at? I saw 2 riders, right? And so...
And naturally, you're like, I don't know what you're talking about.
So Kurt gets out of the car, right? Kurt's a big boy, right? And he's like trying to talk to the Ranger, and he's like, hey, man, can you be brotherly or something like that? And the Ranger puts his hand on the gun, unsnaps his gun, and says, please, will you take 2 steps back? All right? And we knew, well, this is some serious shit now. The Ranger's trying to grab for his fucking gun, right? And I'm just like, okay, where are the other 2 riders? I'm like, look, bro, this is my board right here. I have 3 wheels on it. There's no way I could have been coming down the road. The other 2 guys got another van, and they took off, right? If he would have touched that axle, he would have got a 3rd-degree burn on his finger, dude. It was smoking blue red. I mean, the whole thing is, it was gnarly. So he ends up fucking writing Mike a ticket, and taking his board.
Which was your board.
Yeah, which was my board, which he never came back and got. I got fucked and lost the board. Trucks, wheels, it was more than the board, but, no big deal.
I mean, didn't you have
he got me
boxes of shit laying around?
At that point, yeah. Well, that's 90s, dude. It was like later on in the 90s, things got better. Early 90s, it was like, it was space for Femin. I was still working at that point.
Okay.
Job,
So
it didn't all just become overnight that you got all this money and all this free shit. I busted my ass to get all that shit. It was not easy getting on vans, I mean,
dude, it's not easy getting anything.
I fucking put my ass out there. I did all my own shit. I was my own fucking attorney, my own manager, my own fucking shit. I'd call the sponsors. I'd set out my own promo packages to them. I'd fucking get on the phone and hound them, and always be in their face, And I put a lot of work and time in to get the sponsors that I had, and I had good ones, and they took care of me. And I wouldn't have had the career I would have had. If I didn't have Vans backing me like I did and all the companies backing me like I did, I wouldn't have the career I had. Because everybody was paying to go skate, and I wasn't making enough money at my job to be able to pay to go skate all the time. Because there was races all the time. And especially when we started going to Australia and Japan and shit, those tickets aren't cheap.
And Vans was just hooking it up.
Damn right they were. But they were getting killer coverage, dude. I mean, I was pretty much on the podium every year at the X Games except for 96. I was always getting coverage. So every year they did a feature on 2 athletes in each sport. Mm-hmm. And usually they were the gold medalists from the year before. Well, Biker won most of the gold medals one year, so they did one on Biker, and then I was great on TV, so they fucking picked me. They were always doing shit on me. I mean,
what?
I don't know why. I got a feature every year.
You were great on TV.
Well, I mean, they came to me and asked me to get a feature, so it must have been because I didn't play to the camera. A lot of people are like, "Oh no, Jack's #1," you know, or this and that, and they play to the camera.
They're just like,
I love that shit.
I love Big Red. Thank you to Tide, my #1 sponsor. For
no, I would go and do my own shit and go do stupid shit, and next thing you know, a camera would be behind me filming me doing stupid shit. So, like, you know, and I just get good interviews, and I don't know, they were interested in me in something, but I got an interview pretty much every year at the X Games. I got a preview, you know, what do they call it?
Like an athlete coverage. Yeah.
Yeah, athlete profile is what they call them, athlete profiles. And I didn't have the gold medals, you know, but it was like I was known, you know. And so the 6 years I competed at X Games and Street Luge, I was the #1 qualifier 3 of the 6 years.
Wow.
So
you qualified the best and then lost.
Yeah, because it was the X Games.
Damn. Quick question. If you could go back in time right now with like the race wheels of today and go race, like you could have your previous body, your big flowing long hair, and you could have any wheels out of the shop, like would you have beat everybody?
If they didn't have those wheels, probably hell yeah. Probably would have beat everybody more if I would have taken it more serious too.
You didn't take it seriously?
Fuck no, dude. I was partying like a rock star. I thought I was a rock star, dude. Just traveling around the world in somebody else's dollar, fucking hanging out with all these other fucking famous people and semi-famous myself, you know. I had toys licensed under my name, 5 different toys. You know, I mean...
Wait, what type of toys?
I had a pull-back action figure that you pull back and it shoots across the table. I had a remote control. It was like this big. I had an actual action figure. I had Key Train Street Luge. What else did I have?
What?
Yeah, I've had 5 different toys licensed under my name. You can pull up toys.
Oh, my God.
That car was cool, too. That car had my name on the wheels.
What
yeah, check out the car.
Fuck? Are you kidding me?
You didn't know any of this stuff about me, Natester?
No, I just make fun of you.
I know. Dude, I was a rock star back in the day. Look at the wheels. It's got my name on the wheels. It says Lee Dansie on the wheels, Lee Dansie on the car.
What the
Trick shifter.
fuck? Dude, are you kidding me?
Pull up the remote control. The remote control is pretty cool. I bet you can find that, too.
So wow. So there are people who are like playing with Lee Dansie paraphernalia cars. Wow. People
bring these up to me at like Maryhill all the time and ask me to sign them. There it is right there. There's a remote control. Look at that sucker. That thing was rad. Somebody's giving me 2 of those. I just don't have the remote to go with it. I got to go to like, you know.
What?
Yeah, that thing's big.
That's fucking awesome. No one's ever come to me and be like, damn, Nate, you really would look good on the side of a remote control car.
Dude, it's like...
People have definitely come to me and been like, damn, you'd look really good if you stood over here and blocked the wind for me at the campfire because you're so thick. No one's ever thought about putting me on a pullback action star.
Yeah.
Oh, my. Dude, that's kind of badass. Way to go.
Yeah, I did a lot of
And you weren't taking this seriously? I mean, it sounds like you were taking it seriously.
Dude, I was all about the party for me, man. I was like really fucked up back then, dog.
What's really fucked up back then?
Well, like I said, when I was younger, dude, I got into partying pretty heavy, and you know, went down a bad path.
I was just so good at partying that when you're really good.
People say, "Oh, you do drugs because you're trying to hide something, or you're, trying to put a patch on something." But no, I like drugs. That's all there was to it. I did a lot of them. I liked them. It was stupid. I'd do a lot of cocaine on a weekend, and the next day I'd go, "Fuck, I feel like shit. I don't want to do it again." Fucking next Friday, drinking, and boom. Next thing you know, another 8 ball of cocaine. It was terrible, vicious circle, and it just went on and on and on for years. It was my secret little. People knew I partied back when I was racing, but they didn't know the depth of it. I don't think they had any idea. I went hard, dog. I'm missing all my cartilage on the right side of my nose.
I was about to say burning the candle at both ends and then again in the middle.
I stepped up from there to bigger drugs, I've got 5 years clean now. I might have a beer once in a while or a puff because I've got pain. But, I don't do any of the hard shit anymore. I've been 5 years clean. 5 years ago I was on the street shooting heroin, dog.
Really?
I lost everything. I was
tell me this story, because I didn't know anything about you prior to you coming back into Lee Dansie 2.0, which is the Lee Dansie that's here today. And you just kind of like rocked into the scene and everyone was like, holy shit, it's Lee Dansie. And I was like, it's a fucking old guy. Who gives a shit? Like, fuck this dude. And like one of the first things is like people were like, yeah, have you met Lee? And I was like, I don't give a fuck. Like, is he cool? People were like, yeah. I'd be like, cool, then he can hang out by himself. Fuck him. Like, I don't give a shit. And like, yeah, it wasn't long until like you were at Maryhill all the time, and I was like, okay, this dude's pretty cool. You know, he's on a fucking whack ass board with independent trucks. But like,
hey, I stepped it up. I finally got
you
some
did a
help
great
in
job.
the industry.
You're
I got
fast.
some help. I got help from the industry. You know, if I can Ricker down at Paris hook me up with some trucks. You know, I tried out a couple things. Land Yachts boys were cool. I first came back. You know, when I first got back into it, Bryson put out a call and got a GoFundMe going and raised like $1,500 in 2 weeks for a set of leathers for me. Got some leathers.
So what was the catalyst that got you from being like
banging heroin on the streets to come back to skateboarding?
Yeah, banging heroin. That's not the term I was going to use, but yeah,
well,
banging heroin.
That's the truth of it. I mean,
yeah.
I ain't gonna candy coat any of my shit. I've been down a bad path, you know, and I dug myself out from hell and I came back. You know, not too many people make it back from where I was, dog. I was on the streets doing some bad shit I don't even want to talk about. You know, I wasn't doing good stuff, you know, and it basically got to the point where I was sick and tired of being sick all the time, you know.
Yeah.
And so I just reached out for help, and luckily, you know, one of my friends came down and got me. Called out my mom. Mom said, I'll call somebody. Boom. My friend came down and got me. Next day, a couple days later, I was in rehab, pushing through it. Got out of it, you know, got clean, stayed clean. And a couple months in, I started getting onto the Facebook for the first time, started seeing a bunch of people, reached out. People were like, where have you been? Nobody knew where I'd been. I disappeared.
Well, how long did you disappear for?
Well, let's see. Last time I skated was at that Pass Kapoo race in 06, I think. And it had been a few years, like 4 or 5 years before that. But that was the last thing I was at. And so I disappeared pretty much from 06.
It's like you were kind of in and
good
out.
10 years. Good 10 years I was gone. I mean, I was at that point, you know, I was starting to get harder on the drugs. You know?
Were you living on the street?
Living on the street.
Oh, man.
Begging for money on the corner, robbing people, doing shitty stuff, dude. You know, doing stuff that, you know, you got to do when you're on the streets.
Doing shitty stuff. It's pretty much what it comes down to.
It sucks. You know, I'm not proud of it. You know, if it's something I could change in my life, I'd like to change that. But I wouldn't change anything because it's maybe the person I am today. I mean, it's kind of funky to say, but, you know, I've been through some shit, you know. I've been in the trenches, you know.
And so how did you?
I just got sick and tired, man, and I finally got to the point, and I got out, and then I came back, and when I came back,
who was the first person?
Bryson's the one that fucking said, hey, man, you know, we need you back. You know, you need to come back. Support a legend. And he said something about legend. I'm not a legend, bro. I'm just a skater. I'm just Lee. You know, I skateboarded, you know. And everybody's like, put this thing on me. I'm a legend now. And it's like, you know, I won some races. I did some shit, but I'm just a skater, you know. But, you know, Bryson did a lot for me to help me get back, you know. He got me some stuff from Land Yachts and stuff like that. And, you know, Subsonic was around. And they gave me a board, you know. And so a lot of people have helped me out to get back to skating, and skating's kind of taking me back to what I was missing for so many years.
Well,
you know?
Skating always accepts people. Skating doesn't really care. It's one of those like, dude, are you skating?
I just meant skating took me back as not the family. The family took me back. That was given, but I'm talking about skating took me back. You know, skating got a hold of me again.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Skating was something. It
was better
passion. It was a passion. I lost a passion for it, dude.
It was better than all the other stuff.
Yeah, skating was the shit for me, man. Skating was my life, you know. And it's like I just didn't have the passion for it anymore, man. You know, traveling all over the world, it was fun for a lot of years. But at the end of it, you know, it started getting a bit old, man. You know, you can come home one weekend, man, and you just throw all your shit down, and you got to rip open a box, grab some new shit, throw it in the bag, reset your shit, and boom, you're back out again, you know. And we were racing quite a bit, but we weren't doing as much as some of like the BMX guys and some of these other guys. So it's got to be a nightmare for them too. You know, you're traveling to another city and you get there, then you got to find something to eat. You know, my stomach was all fucked up because I was doing drugs and all fucked up all the time. So it's like trying to, you know, go in somewhere like South Carolina and shit, and you got to go to a Waffle House. You know, it's like, you know, it's fucked. And then you're flying, that twacks you out, you know. And so it's like, you know, it got old after a while, and I started losing it. And then by the time I had said fuck it, and the X Games had dropped Street Luge, and then the final straw was when Vans dropped me, and I started not getting the checks anymore. And everything started going downhill, and I started getting into drugs. And then
when you were getting checks, you were getting checks from Vans into like the 2000s.
2002, I think, is when I got dropped by them. I think I started in 93, but I think I started on salary in 95 X Games. I was at the finish line. I'd won the silver medal, and this lady brought 2 kids over, and we bought our own trading cards that year. And lady brought 2 kids over, and like, oh, we've been watching you all weekend. You're their favorite, blah, 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 blah. And so I had one trading card, and I autographed it and gave it to the little girl. And the little boy looked so bummed out. And I'd seen Hickey do this one time. He fucking grabbed his shoe and he autographed it for a kid. So I had brand new shoes because the course wasn't shit. So I didn't really break except for the bottom. So the shoes were brand new. So I just pulled off my shoe and autographed it and gave it to the kid. And I hear this motor drive going behind me. And I turn around and it's Steve Van Doren of Vans. And he's like, Lee, I like what I see. Call us on Monday. We're going to put you on salary. And I call him on Monday. We can put me on salary. And I started on salary. And then I built my way up. Next year it was $250, and then $500, and then $750, then $1,000, then $1,250, then $1,500, and then on top of it they were paying for. And right when I started getting that salary, that first $100, everything was paid for. You know, they'd fly me down there for trade shows and shit, and put me in their fucking booth at trade shows, sign autographs. You know,
I don't. No one's ever paid for me to go anywhere to sign autographs, especially not those big Vans poster autographs. The only thing they give me Post-it notes when I go and sign autographs.
Like I said, it was good times, man.
I mean, it's crazy to hear that was around because I mean, longboarding as far as like downhills come such a far way from like the races back then. But I would say that
it's come so far.
The danger,
but it hasn't gone anywhere because
there's no money.
Everybody's not putting money into it because they're not getting coverage. You know, if they got the shit on television and people weren't just throwing fucking names all over their fucking suit to look cool, if they put actually names on their suit, what the sponsors would actually pay people to put their damn things on. Why is Ronin or any of these companies going to want to pay $400 for the patch plus give you a $500 a month salary when everybody out there, oh, I got a set of leathers, I'm putting Ronin on my shit. You know what I mean? It's like everybody that was on my suit was cutting me a check. If you were a patch on my suit, you paid for that patch and you were giving me a monthly set. If you were a sticker on my helmet, I was getting flow, getting a lot of flow. You know, type of flow where I could give out to kids or I could sell to get extra money on the side. You know what I mean? Every month I get a box from Independent that would have pants in it, fucking 3 or 4 sets of trucks, pants, fucking wads of stickers, flasks, watches, lighters, all sorts of indie logo shit, 5 or 6 shirts. Like every month that box would come. You know, Vans. I walked into Vans before and I've walked out with 2 boxes like that, like fucking huge boxes you can barely see around, full of shoes. I think 30 something pairs of shoes walked out of there with 30 or 40 pairs of fucking shoes one time because the team manager wasn't there and somebody else took us down. And I'm like, wow, you have those in another color? And they're like, yeah, this color. I said, can I have each one of each color? And she's like, yeah, go ahead. So I started putting them in boxes, man. And I was like, oh, can I have that one? Does that come in 5 colors too? I'll take that one in 5 colors. But they just send me a couple of this or a couple of that. I got every single damn shoe they made that time.
Damn.
But
that's the gravy train, baby. That's pretty impressive.
But it took a long time. I mean, there was some cool shit too. They'd fly me down to do we went down to the Vans Triple Crown, right? And
not to be confused with the Triple Crown path race that I threw.
Oh, yeah.
Not to be confused with that.
This is the amateur Triple Crown vert skating, right? So the kid that wins this amateur Triple Crown gets a Vans sponsorship for a year, full on sponsorship, right? So go to the thing, right? And I'm hanging out there while Vans is like, hey, man, we need some chaperones to drive these guys around for the night. We got tickets for a show. So, yeah, dude, it gets good. Listen to this shit, dude.
So they're like, we need a responsible adult to take care of these kids.
Yeah.
Limo.
Well, it was me.
Let's get Limo.
And Beetle, Rosecrans, and a bunch of these other guys. So we got these vans full of these kids.
Oh, my fucking God.
And so check this out.
That's
So we gotta
literally
take him
like
out to a
giving
concert.
your kids to Michael Jackson to like go for a trip. Not that you're weird like Marco Jackson. It's just like it's
I
just
didn't
this-
touch no kids, man. Come
Yeah,
on.
I'm not saying you're a kid toucher. Maybe not Michael Jackson, but just like someone where you're like optically looking at you. Like if I gave you my kid for like a 3-day weekend and they were like 15, like I would expect my kid to come back and just be like, kind of look at me and be like,
Fuck you, Nate.
you haven't been telling me shit. Lee just told me everything.
Yeah.
Lee told me what that thing was that you wouldn't tell me about. Now I know what it is, and you're a dick.
So Pierre-Luc Guillon
Yeah,
wins the contest.
PLG,
PLG wins the contest, right?
Wait,
I got
so
some good, I got some good
wins
PLG
the-
scores. Yeah, wins the amateur thing, right?
Okay, so you know him when when he ain't shit. When
Oh
he's
yeah,
just Pierre.
I've stayed with Pierre. I've stayed with PLG down in San Diego at the X Games one year. They put me and him in a condo, in Steve's condo down there. And his dad got all pissed off because I was on the front page of the Wall Street Journal. It said Vans is going to give Lee Dansie a shoe, and Pierre was all pissed because he wouldn't get a shoe.
Wait,
Yeah.
what?
That's another story.
You were on the front page of the Wall Street.
I've been on the front page of Wall Street Journal. I've been on the front page of USA Today. That was on a Friday issue, so it's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday issue. So when I flew out of Seattle, I walked through the airport and saw my picture as I walked by the newspaper machine, and then I flew into somewhere else and walked through the newspaper machine, and then I flew into Providence. And every time we went around it all weekend long, I just saw it was like, because it was folded in half, and there's a big picture of me on the front page of USA Today. And it was a national paper. So, but okay, where were we going before this?
Okay, what's it called when you're going backwards in your car and you spin it around?
A Rockford.
A Rockford.
We need to
okay.
Rockford this back to where we just were.
Okay. I always refer to those as a back. Yeah. Okay. From now on, that's a
Let's see,
Rockford.
that was a show way before your time, Nate. You weren't even a wet spot in your dad's leg at that point. Okay.
My
So
dad's probably got a lot of wet spots in his legs. I don't know.
So this is
pretty
this is back in
durable.
the 70s. Rockford.
It's called a Rockford.
Yeah, it's Rockford Files was the show.
Yeah, when we do this Freewheel Co video, we're renting a car, and everybody that's part of our team, we're all going to Rockford to fucking rent.
So you just hammer it in backwards,
Oh,
about as it
Lee.
maxes out, and then you hit the brakes and rip the front wheel on you.
I know how to. I know the maneuver.
It's
A
giving-
rose by any other name is still a fucking horrible thing for the
Rose.
tires of your car.
Yeah, that's why you rent a car.
I didn't rent it. I just did it in my Pontiac Bonneville when I was like a 16-year-old kid. Because the first
Pontiac
thing you do,
Bonneville. What was it?
96 SSE.
96 Pontiac Bonneville.
That was my first car. It was a piece of
Alright.
shit.
Pontiac Bonneville. I was thinking more like 67 ish. I was thinking like a real Pontiac.
Like something
Bonneville. I didn't know you
No,
made it
no,
back
mine was
90s.
great. That car got hit by like every kid in the school because you take your car to high school and no one knows how to drive. And
So,
dude,
We were
thing's
talking
durable.
about something before we get off here. I was going into a story about something.
what were we getting off on?
Talking about going into a story. What we got?
So we were talking about you being the chaperone.
Oh
for all
yeah,
these
oh
fucking
yeah.
kids.
Back to this one. Okay, this is fucking great. This is a great story.
I can't believe that they would put you
So,
in charge of fucking
Wait,
children.
check this out. This gets better. So we're taking all these kids out to a show, right?
What type of show?
concert,
Okay.
A concert, right? So listen to this bill, right? It's L.A. Guns, Warrant, and Body Count. Ice-T's death metal band, right? Fucking L.A. Guns and Ice-T's death metal. What? I mean, and on top of it, Warrant, right?
Yeah.
So it's at the Palladium in LA, I think it is. So there's a bar downstairs. It's like a 2-layered venue, and we're up at the back, right? We're sitting in these chairs at the back, and there's like all the kids lined up. I think we got like 15 of them, and there's me and Beetle and 2 other chaperone guys, and we're sitting up there, right? And Warrant comes out, right? And they're fucking, "Who's my cherry pie?" And we're just up there, "You suck, you suck, you suck," right? So. Again, they're getting lights on them, so they can't see too far out, right? I mean, if they're on stage and they got lights beaming at them, you can't really see out in the crowd too far, right? So, we're way at the fucking back of this place.
But you guys are chanting,
You suck, you suck, right? And so, like, I'm sitting there, right? And they go off stage, and I'm sitting there, and my buddy's like, "Come here, Lee," and fucking Ice-T's sitting there, like 5 rows down from us. He's sitting there watching the show. And so my buddy goes, "Come down, you want to meet Ice-T?" And I'm like, "Sure." So I go down and sit next to Ice-T.
Fuck yeah, I want to be
And I'm like,
Ice-T.
"Yeah, like, what's up, Ice?" He's like, and my buddy's like, "Yeah, man, Lee's a street loser." He goes, "You're one of those badass motherfuckers." And I said, "Yeah, I am." He goes, "You gonna be in the pit?" I said, "Damn right, I'm gonna be in the pit." And so we talked for a little bit and went and sat down. So the show gets over, and we go outside, And we're standing outside. We got all the kids together, and one of the guys went to go get the van. So we're all standing outside, right? And all of a sudden, this 1980 fucking 5 Toyota Land or Toyota fucking 4Runner pulls up. Just fucking all the doors open. These fucking meatheads jump out, right? And fucking one of them's a Jakey Lee guy from fucking Warrant or whatever. The big tall. He's like 6'3". He's a pretty tall fucker, right? And I'm with Peter Hewitt. Fucking love Peter Hewitt, dude. That guy rocks, dude. Pro skater. So I'm with Peter, right? And Peter's like this fucking tall. He's a small little fucking dude, right? And so I'm standing off to the side of him, right? And the dude comes over and he gets up in Peter's face and he's like standing over him, you know? And he's like, and Peter's looking up and I'm like, what's your problem, dude? And so I just popped off to the side because I'm like, dude goes after fucking Peter. I'm cold cocking this cocksucker, man. I'm fucking, you know, Peter's the guy, dude. I mean, fucking love Peter. So he goes, he's yelling, he's looking down at Peter and he goes, what's your fucking problem, man? And Peter goes, I don't have a problem, man. What's your problem? And he goes, you guys were chanting, you suck, you suck. And he goes, yeah. He goes, I don't got a problem, you suck. Dude's fucking vein in his head starts fucking pulsating, dude. He's like, no, we don't suck. He goes, we just had a bad sound guy. Bad soundboard guy or some shit. And Peter goes, no, you suck. And he, like the third or fourth, you suck by Peter. Dude's just fucking losing his shit, and the other band members are kind of crowding around, and fucking Peter's like, the guy goes, what do you do for a living? And Peter goes, I'm a professional skateboarder. And dude goes, well, you know what it's got to be like to have a bad day. And Peter just looks up at him and goes, no, I fucking don't. Every day's a good day when I'm on my fucking skateboard. Dude's just losing his shit, dude. Right? And he's about ready to fucking go. And I'm like, dude, I'm going to fucking cold cock this Warren cocksucker right now, dude. I'm like, just please make a war.
I'll be on the front cover of LA today.
I don't give a fuck what cover I've been on. I could say I fucking punched that cocksucker out. So I was like, all wild up, dude. Waiting for him to take a move on Peter. And then all of a sudden, these bouncers come over and split us all up. And then our van pulled up and we got in the van. But yeah, dude, I was like, ready.
So while you're the chaperone of this shit, also at the time there are kids around.
Well, 16, 15, and young adults.
Yeah. In the eyes of the skateboarding community, young adults. In the eyes of the law, minors. But
yeah, they were all cool with it. They wanted to see a beef, and there was this fucking other dude there.
I mean, yo, don't get me wrong.
Was this other dude? Is a fucking skater, dude, pro skater guy. Can't remember his name. Fucking blonde hair. Used to skate the ramp naked all the time, but dude's just gnarly and loves to beef, like Valele type of beef and type of shit, dude. He loves to beef, and I think he was in the van getting the van with the homeboy, but he would have been there, dude. He would have just started cleaning house right then and there. Yeah, threatening Peter, dude. You know, be threatening Peter. Yeah.
So it was just exciting. It was about to go down.
Oh, yeah. So then we get back to the hotel. We get everybody chilled out. And me and my buddy Beetle go outside to smoke. And we're at this fancy hotel in L.A., Hilton or some shit. And we go outside. And there's a wedding reception going on in one of the halls or some shit. And these doors all fly open. And like 100 of these fucking crazy Armenians come flying out, right? They beefing on this guy. Dude goes down. And they're flying by with these glass ashtrays, like heavy-duty ashtrays. And they're just beating them. And they're bouncing off this guy's fucking head, dude. It's just blood everywhere. They're coming by like bombers, dive bombers, like 10 of them. Just boom, bam, just railing him, dude. The girls are all freaking out. And my buddy Beetle, he's Hawaiian, so he's kind of tan-skinned. There's my pale ass out there. And he's yelling, fucking Armenians rule! And I'm like, dude, they're all hostile, bro. Don't bring attention over here, dude. I'm going to get railed, dog. You know? Yeah.
And why'd that guy end up getting his shit rocked in the hallway?
We found out that he was hitting on somebody's girl or some shit. Some looking girl.
Classic. Yeah.
Some female bullshit, you know.
I mean, yeah, if it's not launching 1,000 ships, you know what I'm saying? It always seems to be the you blame it like it's female bullshit, but it's always dudes beating each other up.
No.
It's literally always dude problems.
Oh yeah.
Oh my goodness, this thing is cold as shit.
I've got some actual ice in there, Nate, sir.
Well, I haven't reached that level of maturity yet where I roll around with a cooler.
Well, I just figured, you know, I didn't know if I like IPAs or not.
Well,
I don't drink much, you know. I have a beer once in a while. I thought it was a special occasion. I have a beer with my buddy.
I honestly don't drink unless it's on the podcast. Like, that's a lie.
Say what?
I don't really drink unless it's on the podcast because it makes it easier to have these fun conversations.
Yeah, it loosens
like there's a lot of things like I wouldn't talk about. You know, sucking at fighting. With the amount of shit that I talk, I shouldn't put that out there because man, people will give me the benefit of that. Like maybe
you're good at it. Maybe you got into a sock with somebody and you rocked them. You never know. You know?
I'm not gonna put it out. I'm not a fighter. I'm a hugger. I'm a lover, and I'm a
shit talker.
And I'm an apologizer. Yeah, I am a shit talker. I just like to. I mean, do you know my good friends? I hang out with Monkey in between.
I like that guy. He's all right.
Great dude, but like the shit talk is just amazing. Like there's never been a compliment. People rarely think we're good friends.
When I first met you, I thought you were kind of an asshole. But
yeah.
Then I got to know you, and then I came down and saw you in your environment down here at your shop and the way you treat the customers, and I was like, "Look, man, this guy's all right, man." And then got to know you a little bit, you know, just like you thought who this fucking old guy is, you know.
And then you
like,
see me at the competition,
smart ass fucker thinks he knows everything about fucking skateboarding. You know?
Yeah, I push a lot of people away naturally. Comes pretty effortless to me, but I think the endearing part is that once people get in to the bubble around me, it's pretty tough to get out. Like there's definitely been a lot of people that I have
rubbed the wrong way.
Rubbed the wrong way, but also helped like get out of just help them like get through stuff. Whether that's like learning how to skate, holding small events.
You helped me out, dude. I didn't know my technical shit. I was trying to sell some trucks, and you got the freaking. Help me out that way.
I think it was at Maryhill where someone came up and was like, "Yo, we're trying to get Lee skating, like blah 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 blah," and I was like, "Oh, I've got like 70 bushings on me. Like, what do we need? Like, yeah, you can have all these bushings. Like, who's Lee?" You know, like that's one of those things. I'm always down to help people out, but like it's my own brand. Like, you know, like if you want the best customer service, you're gonna have to go somewhere that offers the best customer service. I have the information you need, but I'm a smart ass. And that's my brand
at least
of
you're
customer
not like
service.
Dave down at Gravity. Well, he'll just say, "Fuck you, get out of my store."
No. I
love me some Dave, but he's
very core.
Yeah.
No, I want my store to feel very inclusive. I always tell people that it's because I'm incredibly selfish and I just want their money. And
also sometimes when you see somebody and you get a first impression, man, you know, I fucking hate that about sometimes you got to give people a chance. You know, maybe he's having a bad day, or maybe he's.
And the other thing is like
what you are. You got other things going on. You know, people don't realize. Sometimes people got other shit on their plate. You know, the guy just cut me off. Well, maybe he's running to go to his wife's in the hospital.
Exactly. You know, there's some of that, and the other thing is with longboarding. I mean, you've been around a long time, and I would say that I've been around a time. I wouldn't even say long at this point with.
Yeah, but you've been in deep, dude. You've been in
for a while. But one of the things like I always like think about in that it's like I didn't get here by myself. Like there were people before me who kind of showed me the way, and I'm kind of in this weird place right now where like I'm trying to like reckon with like when I was a young Grom, like learning how to skate, like there was kind of like this Grom mentality, and like the older dudes kind of shit on the younger guys to like groom them into becoming like good people. You know what I'm saying? Like it's very much a mentorship sport, and so there's a lot of times like the older generation kind of like cracking the whip super hard on the young kids makes the young kids better. And I think that there's some of that that's necessary, especially in the longboarding scene. Like sometimes you have to come along, you see some young kids, and you're like, "Hey man, right now you're smoking at the top of the hill across from this kid's birthday party. Like bad look for all of us. What I want you to do is go somewhere else." Like I'm not telling you not to do it. I'm just saying like this is a bad look. You got to coach them on how to safely navigate the waters of being a longboarder. Because I always tell people like the worst thing about longboarding is that like it's public. Like you have to like if you're really ripping down hills, like you're in people's faces, you're like ripping past them at stop signs and like waving and ruining their whole day. The same dude that you're talking about, like, "Oh my God, I got to go to the hospital because like my fucking wife's in the hospital." And oh my God. And then you see like 7 longboarders fucking cut you off and just having the best day. And you're like, "Fucking longboarders, I hate you all." That's super tough.
It wasn't that popular back when we were doing it, so we didn't give a fuck. You know what I mean? It wasn't on our minds back then. Nowadays, it's so popular. It's out there. It's on social media. There's thousands of people doing it.
Everything's on social media,
You know,
dude.
we didn't have that shit when we were riding. You know, I mean, somebody had to call the cops on you. They had to come out. They had to find your ass. You know, it was like
It was gonna take them a while. Nobody had a cell phone. So like,
exactly.
I'm gonna
You
call the
gotta-
cops on you. They
yeah,
gotta drive
exactly.
back home, call the
Exactly.
fucking cops. You
Never
get a
really
couple
had
more
run-ins
runs
with
in.
them. You know, I mean, hardly had run-ins. Had
Slower
run-ins with them a few
dispatch
times.
system. Yeah.
I think the only time I ever got a ticket was in Whittier County. I was riding Turnbull Canyon, fucking smoking down. I think Alex Schroeder with the Schroeder boys, and was smoking down the canyon. Fucking cop coming up, fucking saw me. I was out in front. I can pull the 180. I think he got Alec. Got to the bottom. I was sitting down there fucking smoking, and
As you do.
as I did, I don't smoke anymore.
You don't smoke darts?
No, quit smoking darts 2 years ago, and I got broke off.
Good for you, man.
And fucking nurses will not let you go out of the hospital when you're broke off.
What'd you break off? Like, how broken off were you?
Left leg and left arm. So a plate and 24 screws in my leg. 2 plates, 24 screws in my leg. 1 plate, 24 screws in my arm.
So 48
That's it.
screws altogether?
24 screws and 3 plates.
Gross.
So yeah, it was fucked, and it was all my left side. So I'm like, you know, it put me in a wheelchair, and I said, I'll fucking
Just
figure it
making
out.
really good right turns the entire time?
Oh yeah, I was fucked either way. I got in an argument with them. Like, it's my right. I want to go outside and smoke a goddamn cigarette. You can't go anywhere. I mean, here's a patch, boom, and you know, a couple days in the thing with a patch on, and then going home. Once they let me out and I went home, I was on a walker that had an arm thing, and I couldn't put any weight on this foot for 6 months or some shit. And so I was like, I couldn't barely get out of bed to go piss, you know, not alone get outside to go outside to smoke a cigarette, especially when it's cold. And at that point, I'm like, fuck it. So I just go in, take a piss, go back in, crawl into bed, and I was in bed for 6 months.
Jesus.
It was fucked.
Yeah. That's.
Yeah, really, the worst accident I've had. I mean, on skateboarding, it's the worst accident I've ever had.
Do you think, and this is just retrospective question, do you think that it was the worst accident based on
Injuries.
Injury? Granted, it was the worst injuries that you sustained, but do you think that it was the worst crash that you've been in?
Oh, fuck yeah, dude. It was painful, bro. I mean, so basically I did a slide, I came out of a slide, was going through a 90, was doing about 20 miles an hour, looking straight ahead, and
Got clipped from behind.
Dude hit me so hard, it took a chunk out of my board, an inch chunk out of the back of my board. I mean,
You got the board on you?
yeah. I mean, that's a pretty good sized chunk.
Oh.
That's the nose of his board. That's how hard he hit me. And I didn't know he was behind me. No recollection. I'm looking straight ahead, focusing straight ahead. Knees are almost locked out straight, you know, standing up. So knees are slightly bent. Hits me from behind. The board shoots out. It's like when you stand on the board, somebody kicks it out from behind you. All your weight kind of lunges forward and then goes back to the back foot. So when my back foot, all my weight came off, my back foot hit the ground, and I'm doing 20 miles an hour. It snapped it.
Instantaneously
Yeah,
snapped.
I mean, it did it so bad that I got road rash on the side of my ankle. It folded my shit so bad.
Oh.
You know.
So okay, so terrible crash. But, I mean, you've been in some pretty gnarly crashes. I was wondering if that crash was the worst, just in terms of, like...
dude, it's worse than the dirt bike. I mean, the dirt bike one sucked, but I didn't get any hardware. I got some fucked up ribs from it that hurt every once in a while, and the shoulder that ain't all good, and with the lung healed.
I mean, yeah, I think it's age. I mean, I don't want to say that you're over 22 years old. Sometimes I will say that, like, certain things hurt more. Like, I remember crashing into a curb when I was 21 years old and hitting my ass super hard, and then 2 days later being fine. And for example, 3 days ago, I disc golfed and I didn't have a footbed in my shoe, and my toe still hurts. So, like, that's 10 years later,
That's
and like
you're
my
6'3", 230 pounds.
I hope I'm 230.
Huh.
I weighed myself recently, and I lost like 25 pounds. And I was thinking about it, and I was
I've gained 25 since the injury.
but you look like a stick still. You still look like you should be
Because my
scurrying.
arms are so damn long, dude.
You look like you should be scurrying between
my arms are
like
probably longer than
dumpsters.
yours. You're like you're 4 inches taller than me. I guarantee my arms are longer than yours.
No way.
Let's do it. Guarantee. Go shoulder to shoulder, dude. I guarantee it.
I think he might have you. It'll be close.
Wait, on top, go into my armpit.
Oh, I can go all the way up under your armpit.
But I'm on top of your arm.
Yeah, now do it. Switch. Oh yeah, he's got you.
Wait. You're like leaning. Square shoulder, just square shoulder, and then arm straight out.
It's close. I think he's got you by a little bit.
I can touch my kneecaps while standing up. That's my kneecap right there.
Oh my god, dude!
I got long arms.
Dude, you're
skinny. Look at that.
You're built like a fucking octopus. Holy shit!
Yeah, I don't know. I got some long ass
God.
arms. So
I was about to say your arms are. I don't know. That's not a very scientific thing that we just did, but your arms are at least as long as mine.
Yeah,
and you can touch your kneecaps. And I'm tall as fuck.
Yeah, I'm like 5'11". I was 6, just like 5'11", 6 foot.
He's like 5'8".
I'm 5'11" right now. Oh wait,
5'7" and
That's
4.
biker height. Biker's 5'8".
5'7" and 4/4.
Oh.
Oh my god! No, I'm sure you're tall. It's cool.
No, I'm not that tall. I'm just under 6. But you know.
And how much
I
you
want to
weigh?
say about 175, 180.
What's the last race that you did well at?
Last race.
Like a Maryhill, a Mount Tabor.
I didn't do very good. You know, I was at fucking
Mount Tabor, you're too skinny.
I got 4th because Dino freight trained me.
Well, yeah, I was
Big
about to say
boy.
you're too skinny. You're too skinny for that.
Yeah,
shit.
well, back then I was. Now it's just see it, man. I got an extra 30 pounds. That's
You got a gas
150
tank
back
for
then.
that speed machine, baby.
Yeah, now I got some weight. I want to see what happens. I can't fit into my leathers. It's really tough. I got to suck it in the belly and the zipper's really tight. But
Have you ripped the liner out of your leathers yet?
no.
You should try that. If there's like a mesh liner on the inside of your...
Oh, yeah.
I've never had leathers, but what I've heard is that'll definitely like to slip in and out of them easier, and it makes it easier to tuck.
I got to get some new ones. The ones I got a couple years back, they're thrashed already. So.
What happened? Have you been crashing?
I crash a lot, dude.
Yeah, you
I
do.
get taken out too. Like at the last.
I've seen you
Maryhill
skate.
race-
You crash.
Yeah,
You want to
it's
claim
all
it's getting taken
Yeah.
out, but I mean, when
Well,
you put yourself into a
okay.
bad position
Alright.
like you do when we were skating, like we would have crashed if I wasn't
Okay.
100 pounds heavier and could just like grab your little twig ass and like put you back on your board and just give you like
When did that happen?
the parental no.
That was Dennis. That's not me.
No, that was you.
Where did you give me the no?
I gave you the
Where,
no.
where was that at? Maryhill?
We're talking. The no was going out of spaghetti into never ending left.
Wow.
I take a really wide line into never ending left because I'm fat and I never ride fresh wheels. And you like came on the inside of me as you should have because you were going much faster. You were like passing the group that I was in, and as you went to take the line, you like kind of you were gonna bump me off my board, but luckily I was
this
way
sounds
fatter.
exactly like the story he was talking about Dennis in, and he grabbed
That's 'cause
Dennis and moved him over.
That's because you guys do it very similarly. I mean, it's weird that two people who have skated together for so long would both take such terrible lines,
Yeah, but me and Dennis only skated together for 5 years.
but a lot in that 5 years. And you guys take pretty much every run at Maryhill together.
No, sometimes. I mean, he's fucking faster than me, so.
Well, yeah, he's 10 years younger than you.
Well, fuck you, Nate.
Noted.
Yeah.
Noted. I mean, yeah, you're still fast. I would say, like, if you and I were to race right now, I would probably lose. Like, I would have to really try my ass off.
Guarantee you would lose.
Really?
Yeah.
When's the next Maryhill?
I'll put a tenner on it. Let's put a $10 on it next Maryhill.
Oh, a tenner's only $10? Yeah, I could do
Yeah,
that.
10.
Yeah.
How about a back rub then?
A back rub?
Make it a little bit more juicier.
I'll
or
get
something.
I'll give you
What's a better bet? What's a better bet?
Ooh. Oh, man.
You got to eat some jalapenos or some shit if you lose. Something's got to pay.
Well, okay, first off, can I establish the rules? No leathers.
I don't give a fuck.
Okay, we're going to race no leathers because I don't have them, and I'm not going to buy them.
That's fine.
That's pretty much my only stipulation.
Okay.
Deal?
Yeah,
And we're going to
deal.
put a tenner on it?
Deal. Let's do a tenner.
A tenner?
A tenner.
And we'll get someone to film it who's faster than both of us so they can GoPro it up.
Okay.
And we'll see who can win. And when's
Guarantee it.
you guarantee you're going to beat me?
Guarantee it.
You're gonna
I've
guarantee-
skated with you out there.
Yeah, you have.
But I haven't seen you go balls to the wall, though.
No, you haven't.
I've seen
I
you
don't
go
do
balls.
it. That's
But you'll pull it out for me, Nate?
well, I mean, there's something you may not know is that for a part of my youth, I used to sail pretty competitively. I used to, like, there was one point where I was kind of at the point where I was trying to do some like junior Olympic stuff, and I was going to national qualifiers, and that just took a lot of dedication. And I'm not saying that any of that sailing carries over, but my level of OCD does. And once you figure out how to win, and a lot of the time it just comes down to trying harder, training, stretching, eating healthier, going out and pushing my skateboard.
That's a logical way to go about it.
That's what I'll do.
I use the fucking go for it method. I just pin it.
And
No
just-
stretching, no nothing. Just partying like a motherfucker the night before, going out the next day and going hard and still taking home medals.
Yeah, that worked back then.
Yeah, it
so
doesn't
what I'm
work
gonna
now.
do is I'm gonna be
Okay, so we're doing this on
$10.
the September coming up.
That's when they're doing the free ride.
Yeah, September, the first weekend in September. What's that? Labor Day. Labor
Yeah.
Day weekend in September. It's on. It's on Donkey Kong.
$10.
$10. Whatever you want to do. You can
I
fucking
love
eat
it.
peppers or something. Or do something.
$10.
Because humiliates the guy that loses. You know, it makes him fucking pay for it. I'm talking shit, man.
Yeah,
I better be
let's
able to
come up
back
with
my
a-
shit if I'm talking the shit.
I mean,
right?
yeah, I think you could beat me, but I really don't think you will. I think you'll crash yourself out, and I'll be able to win just in a gentle tuck.
If I'm not wearing leathers, I ain't crashing, bitch. I ain't crashing if I'm not wearing leathers.
How'd you crash the last time? Was it wearing leathers?
No, I didn't crash. I did not crash, technically.
Takes two to tango.
I got taken out. If he would have stuck his line and not hit my board, I would have been fine.
Okay.
Evidence of the big when it's ship out of the back of the board.
Okay. I see what you're saying. I think this would be fun. I think
Yeah.
that, yeah, $10
Oh, it's all
is
in
a-
good fun, brother.
$10 is a gentle bet. We're going to be friends at the end of it.
No, we're not. We're
$10
not friends
is-
out. What are you talking about?
$10 is really not a lot of money for you. I'm sure it'll change you quite a bit, though.
Oh, yeah, dude.
I'd
I'm
hate
not
for it to
working
go to
right
all-
now. I've been broke off for a year, dude. I haven't worked in a year.
What would be a good
$10 is fucking, that's like a month's salary for me right now.
Damn. I mean, what would be I don't know. I'll make, how about this? If I win, I win. That's all I need. I just need you to know.
Okay.
If you win, I'll make a sticker, specifically Lee Dansie, for Motion Boardshop.
Oh, okay.
I get to decide what the sticker is, but it has to have your name on it.
Oh, God. That doesn't sound like a very good bet, bro.
I mean, like, I think I'm
One
gonna
of those penis pictures with Lee Dansie. The Bobo below.
just a penis, but your head on the tip of it. It just says Lee Dansie.
And then says Bobo.
I mean,
I say Bobo.
No, I think if anything, I would do like a cool photo of you, like
those Paris stickers, kind of.
Yeah,
Paris
I was.
stickers?
You
Those
know
are
the
kinda
one I'm
cool.
talking about. Like, you know how there's that photo that Monkey took of you where you're doing that one hand toe side at Slug Wars.
Yeah, that was
Maybe-
like one of the best pictures I've had since I came
Well,
back
Monkey's
from
a great photographer, and you were doing one hand toe sides, which is kind of out of character for you.
That day I paid to fucking learn that thing, and I haven't done it since that day. But yeah, dude, I beat the shit. I had a cigarette hanging out of my mouth. I was eating shit and dirt everywhere, and putting the cigarette in.
Getting
There. Go for it, dude. Go for it.
Everyone was like, "Lee, you can do this," and you're like bleeding out of your ears, like, "I'm gonna fucking do it."
It was
Like,
fun. It was fun.
You did a great job. So yeah, I'll make that photo into a sticker if you win, and then I'll put your
Okay.
name on it as well.
All right.
Does that sound good?
Okay.
Because I
And
think
if
that-
I win, I'll put a Mobo sticker on my board for a year.
I don't give a fuck about your board. No one sees that thing. You're over here talking about motherfucking. Oh yeah, if you're gonna put a patch on your leathers, you gotta do this, that, and
Yeah,
this.
that's if you got a patch, you're getting paid. That was back in the day. I'm
Yeah.
not getting paid anymore. I know my leathers don't have anything on it except for the guy that got me the
Except for the
leathers.
holes in the back of them before you keep
Yeah.
fucking falling.
Yeah. And the ones all blown out.
It's blown in the armpits.
Yeah.
You know, you could just maybe don't zip that bad boy up. You can get the gut in there.
I can use some duct tape. We'll figure it out. I'm
Yeah.
not going to use leathers anyway. It'll
Yeah.
be faster. I'll be in a skin suit.
You gonna naked boy me?
No. I
Oh.
don't want to shame you that bad, bro.
You just whip out the massive hog and beat me down the hill. I don't know. I don't know.
No shirt, probably.
Oh
It's
wow.
faster. Get a little bit faster with no shirt. You know, if you're going to pay and you're going down anyway. So I got to get some knee pads between now and then. I'm wearing knee pads.
Knee pads.
Yeah. You're not wearing knee pads? Okay, fine. Let's go that way then. We'll go that
I'm
route.
kicking your ass in a button up. I
A
already
button
have
up?
the outfit. I'm gonna
What's a
be
button-up?
a button-up T-shirt. It's got
Oh.
little reptars on
Oh,
it.
your
got
little,
little-
your little one of those little Hawaiian t-shirts. You can wear
It's like a
hula vest, too?
Hawaiian. It's like a Hawaiian T-shirt, but it's got little dinosaurs on it that are green.
You can wear a hula skirt too.
No, but if I win, I may make you wear one.
Okay, that sounds good.
And then
I'm
we'll
down.
do the hula together, and we'll celebrate because the hula is all about
I love
friendship,
it. Talking shit.
and we can
It's all
hula
good.
together.
Hey, it's all in good fun. Nate. Yeah, I think it'd be fun.
I
race.
think it'd be
I'd love
fun just to
see,
know.
I'd love to see what you got, man. I still got a little gas in the tank, man. You know?
You're still
Right?
fast. I think honestly,
No.
if you did nothing, it's literally all on me to beat you. Like you're still faster than me. It would literally just involve me getting back to the point where like
Yeah,
I'm,
but that's you're talking about is faster than you 2 years ago. Now it could be a different situation.
oh
when I got
that's
injuries.
interesting.
So
That's a good way to
I'm
put
pretty
it.
fucked
Yeah.
up right now, but I don't give a fuck. I'll still pray. You know, it's fucking wide open to me. That's why my whole life, dude. It's we can just pin it, just pin it, hold it wide. You know, everything I got into that super modified shovel, just get in it and charge. You know,
Third gear, feather the clutch. You know.
Yeah. So my buddy had one of those Quadzillas 500, dude. Oh, be careful, be careful. Dude, I brought it back to him 5 minutes later, and the engine's on fire, smoking. He's like, "What'd you do to my phone?" He's like, "Tell me, be careful, dude. I was getting a piece of it, you know, going through the gears."
Wow. What's the most dangerous thing you think you've ever done?
Modified shovel was pretty nasty. If I would have flipped that thing, because my head was just sticking out and it's fiberglass. It could have decapitated me. That was pretty nasty.
And that was something that you literally hadn't even ridden. So you're like,
No, that thing could have been like. If you look at the accidents in that could have been seriously like not career ending, like life ending situation. So that was pretty nasty. Some of the dirt bike things I've done have been pretty dangerous. You know, I don't know, man. I've done some pretty fucked up shit. I mean, you know, that's a tough one.
Nothing comes to mind. Is like
nothing really. I mean, you know, driving the car when your fucking teammate tries to grab the fucking e-brake all the time is pretty sketchy. Too. I mean, I don't know. I mean,
that's not like that's the most dangerous thing you maybe have been in, but not like done to yourself.
Dangerous thing done to myself. I don't know. Anytime you go over about a buck something in a car, $120, $130, shit gets dangerous. You know, you get up into the higher. You know,
those are the non-walking away from this speeds.
You know, probably I had a '69 Barracuda. Had a built 340 in it. That used to get it pretty good. I used to stop on I-90 coming through on Issaquah, coming off Mercer Island, going to Issaquah. I get on the Bellevue ramp there, and I'd stop on the freeway. And wait to see cars come around the corner and just go through the fucking gears going up there by 130 and all the bushings are blowing out. So I'm fucking steering the fuckers. It's going across 2 lanes and I'm fucking smoking cars going up the hill. I don't know. It's just everything.
Normal stuff.
Yeah, that's just fun stuff. I don't know. I don't really see the danger in shit sometimes when you're focused on doing what you're going to do. Like at the X Games when we were doing the super modified shovel racing, they stuck heart monitors on us. The strap that went around us and monitored our hearts. And every time I kept coming back up, they're like, take off your heart monitor. We need to put a new one on. So after the 3rd time, I'm like, why the fuck do you keep changing out my heart monitor? And they're like, because everybody's like, your heart monitor is doing completely different things than everybody else's. Right? In the starting gate, their heart rates, their heartbeats are like 90 beats per minute or some shit. And they let them go. And then they go up to 150, 140 heartbeats a minute or some shit. Mine in the starting gate was 120, 130. And when they let me go, it'd go down to 90 or 80. So it would do the opposite of what everybody else's was doing. It's because I was focused on what I'm doing. You know, I was fucking nervous because the starting gate's always fucked because you got to get out. You got to get the gate, you know. And even though these things were just letting us go, I'm still anxious in the gate going, wait. And then as soon as it let me go and as soon as I get going, as soon as I get up to like 60, 70 miles an hour, my heart's just chill. I'm just doing what I'm doing. I'm going through the motions, you know, and just you get in that zone, you know. It's everything's just, you know, I don't know. It was weird, but after the 3rd time, I'm like, what's going on? They're like, yours is... I'm like, yeah, I'm in the starting gate. I'm fucking nervous as fuck, you know? That's when I'm going. And when you let me go, I'm going to work. You know, I'm doing what I do. I'm in the zone. You get in the zone, you chill out, you do your shit.
Yeah, you're a fast car. You don't do well at low RPMs. Yeah. You're a high RPM kind of guy.
Oh, yeah.
That's where you run best.
That was I'm fucking high strung.
I mean, dude, you're wild. You and Dennis just... riding around on those electric skateboards, almost dying all the time.
Yeah, those ones were fun, and that one was not that good.
Yeah. What's up?
I just gotta switch over batteries.
Oh, yeah.